Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2 of a special tournament here celebrating old school classic Capcom fighting games. My name is James Chen, and I am joined by Jaidlyn. How are you doing?
I'm great. I am ridiculously excited to get to watch this tournament and commentate it with you. I watched last week and I had so much fun and I learned a bunch. The joke was that you are now the Chen Cyclopedia of older fighting games because we just learned like the information and the knowledge that I got from that particular stream was incredible, and I love these games, and getting to share that passion with you guys is really exciting, especially along with somebody who has such a rich history in these games.
The Chen Cyclopedia. I'm definitely using that from now on.
Please do.
But yeah, again, look, this is the history, right? And one of the things that we often say in the FGC is that we have done a pretty poor job of like documenting history and talking about a lot of stuff, and it's one of the reasons why I love what Capcom has done with the 30th anniversary collection, and now here the Capcom Fighting Collection, where they put all the Darkstalkers games and Red Earth and Puzzle Fighter and Gem Fighter and and Cyberbots. So like everything is on here, and it's for me, it's so special just to be able to have the ability to access this and also introduce these games to a whole new generation, and that's what I feel like is what makes these collections so awesome.
That it's definitely something that's really exciting for a multitude of people, and the availability that we have to run tournaments more efficiently and effectively with this kind of collection. And speaking of tournaments that we can run, before we get into the mystery tournament itself, we're going to jump into an exhibition, which I'm really excited about. So we're going to jump into a Vampire Saviors exhibition, and one of the players we have is the Combo Breaker champion, Ailerus.
Yeah, also second place at the $7,000 Capcom, official Vampire Savior tournament at East Coast Throwdown as well. Now, obviously on social media, you probably saw that Ailerus was going to go up against Minima, which would have been a Grand Finals rematch from Combo Breaker. Minima also top 8 at that ECT Vampire Savior tournament. Also, little brother of Mr. Yeti Ghetto Slang, who I commentated Vampire Savior with all the time. Unfortunately, he was unable to make the tournament, so we do have a replacement player now in Servo. So again, hopefully everything's okay with Minima, but again, we made sure that we are going to continue to bring you Vampire Savior action, and definitely this is one of those blink and you miss it games, because these two, these are, when you watch the top players play this game, the game goes so fast.
It really does. So, I was actually refreshing my memory on the that Combo Breaker top 8, and I watched it twice because the whole grand finals only took 5 minutes. It was incredible. I watched it and then I went, wait, did I miss something? And then I watched it again because it was that fast.
Yeah, my joke is always that an entire 2 out of 3 set, close 2 out of 3 set, legit can fit in the entire Twitter 2 minutes and 20-second limit.
Oh, it absolutely can. So, Ailerus is going to be on that Felicia, and then we do have, all right, and then we have Servo on the other side.
Yeah. Now, if you watch a lot of Vampire Savior, Raptor's the best character in the game. Like, he has a bunch of unblockable setups. He's ridiculously fast. There's an unblockable right there. If you can hit with the last frame of that jumping light kick, yeah, you literally can't block it because it just doesn't have that proximity box. It doesn't trigger the block on the opponent. But again, Ailerus, one of the strongest players, and Felicia, although not a top tier character, a very high tier character.
Yeah, and the way that Ailerus seems to move with Felicia is just incredible. The gaps that they're able to close, and then wow, what a throw in return for that.
Yeah. And Ailerus is a expert at the please help me, but unfortunately that's going to be, yeah, so when you activate the Dark Force, no matter what, except for the characters whose Dark Force makes them fly, they have a recovery. And so what happened there was Servo managed to land the combo on Ailerus while he was in Dark Force. So when he gets up, he has to do the recovery animation. And Servo had the EX Helicopter just right there waiting for him and was able to take game number 1.
The thing with Vampire Savior, and with a lot of the games within the Darkstalkers series, is you mentioned that they go so fast. And something that's really interesting too is that if you're used to, say, a game like Guilty Gear or one of your anime fighters, which is more of my background, you're used to, oh, the round is over. But not in these. Like, you just lose a health bar, you keep going. It's very similar to like Killer Instinct or things like that.
Yeah.
And the gap between losing that health bar and restarting the next round is so incredibly fast. I bought this game recently, and I was having so much fun playing through, and I was playing against somebody online, and I was like, wait, what do you mean I'm already playing again? Why am I playing again? And like, I just lost because I didn't know that it was time to play again.
Right. It was down, you're back, okay, go, fight, you know.
Right.
And it's just,
it's just so stupid fast.
Yeah, and then on top of all that, every single one of the characters in this game are just absolutely busted. I mean, the way that I've described Ailerus as a character, he is like the most broken thing. He's got Dhalsim drills that are overhead. He flies in the air, floats, all that. He's the worst character in the game. You know?
Sure. Oh my god, and just like that too, Servo's just lost his first health bar. Ailerus doing an incredible job pressuring in the corner. That's one thing I've noticed about the way they play, is they love their corner pressure. And now you're out of the corner.
Yeah, exactly. But wow, single hit guard cancel. Again, all the guard cancels in Vampire Savior changed to DP motions. So it's actually really hard to do single hit guard cancels. Oh, yeah, crossed them up. Yeah, that's one of the nice things, is when you see the person roll forward like that, they kind of put themselves into a situation where you can get to either side of them. And so they kind of put themselves, if you predict which way they're going to roll when they get up, you can kind of issue a little mix up on them like that. But there you go, 1-1.
Yeah,
how long
just
is the stream now? Like 12 minutes?
Yeah, not long at all. I want to actually like time one of these at some point. Not this round, because we're already getting into it. And this round I feel like has already lasted longer than the previous two.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just a little bit more
the
back
first
and forth.
life bar was gone last time at 91 seconds, so yeah. Oh, there's that unblockable again. Man.
Ooh, I love the way that Ailerus just got underneath that just because Servo was jumping and just like, meow.
Yep. and again, one of the things that makes Ailerus so good at Felicia is he's really good at mixing between all of her anti-airs, especially that crouching medium punch you just saw right there. Actually lose because of the air dash from Servo. But he's got that, he's got the standing light kick. Oh, the EX guard cancel concert time for Lord Raptor. And again, the single hit guard cancels.
Yeah, I love the EX guard cancel. It's such a cool animation. Like, I love how much you can see that this game contributed to fighting games in the future. There's just it was so ahead of its time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the game that, you know, anime fighters, you know, took a lot from this with this air dashing, the craziness, but then also just like all of the like little graphical touches. There's so many Easter eggs in this game, and it really kind of set the standard, in my opinion, for fighting game developers trying to squeeze in as many Easter eggs as possible. Oh, he's not dead.
Bro, wow.
So again, when Felicia dashes forward like that, she jumps. Her forward dash is a jump. So everything she does counts as an overhead. Now, for Felicia, it's harder than with Bane, and harder even more than Sasquatch. Sasquatch is the easiest one to do it, to be able to combo off of the dashes, because Sasquatch, if you pull back, he just ends his dash and you just combo off of it for free, basically, which is what makes Sasquatch basically top 3 in the game. But if it's gonna kill, then it doesn't matter for Felicia.
No, it really doesn't.
Dude, right, Hagure? This should be first to 10, right? Shouldn't we just, I mean, this is gonna be like 2 seconds long.
Yeah. VM Faction said 64-person tournament can end in under 2 hours. I believe it. I've seen it happen.
They always time this game for like a nice 2-hour, 3-hour top 8 block, and it's like, why?
It's like, oh, hour and 5 minutes? Great, we're good, we're done. And speaking of which, in that conversation, Servo took the first bar of Ailerus' health there. So already down to 1. A lot of... Ooh, there is a little bit of recoverable life, so Ailerus is getting some of that back. Never mind, I'm a liar, you're dead.
Yeah. And again, one of the things that makes Raptor so scary is that, not only... So he's a Dulcim archetype from Super Turbo, where you can hold forward or backwards on the controller to get, the far moves or the close moves. For Raptor, it was hold forward or just neutral and back. But when he's jumping, he also has up and down versions of all of his jump attacks. And the down versions, the jump strong, the jump medium punch, the jump heavy punch, are 2 of the lowest hitting jump attacks. Oops, is this gonna be are we gonna rock the stage? Are we rocking the stage? I thought this was an illegal stage here, but I guess they're gonna actually play it on this.
Is this Fetus of God?
Yeah, this is Fetus of God now. The reason why this stage is normally banned, it is wider than the other stages.
Right.
Someone said it's 2 screens wide while all the other ones are 1.5, but it looks like they're going with it right now. But, I was mentioning about Raptor with those jump attacks. If he does the up ones, they miss a lot, so that sets up throws and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Raptor is just so good for so many reasons.
There are so many cool characters within this game. Oh, and I love the anti-air. Do it again. Third time? No, different input that time. What a throw animation, too. And they're both sitting on a lot of meter. Okay, Ailerus finally used one.
Dude, and again, that's some reaction from Ailerus right there, knowing that buzzsaw dive was gonna miss, and he just went with that crouching medium punch again. The crouching strong. Like I said, Ailerus is so on point with that anti-air, and he's gone up 3-2 over Servo.
It's just such a back and forth game, and it's not like Servo is playing poorly. It's just that Ailerus is outplaying them a lot of the times. Like that incoming overhead and the throw into the corner. Like the high-low mix is really impressive, but now Servo gets an opportunity with their own high-low putting Ailerus into the corner.
Yeah, and again, I just have to totally sidetrack and just say one of the best stages in the game, one of the best background musics, War Agony. Love this stage so much, but there we go. Throw into the corner.
Yep, you live here now, you pay rent in this shantytown. That's what we're doing. This is so, it's interesting you brought up the anime part of this, because they do spend so much time in the air and they're dashing frequently. Oh, another air throw. Do it again.
With the jump attack into the throw, just going in there. And, one of the strengths for Felicia, like I said, not a top tier character, but her jump is probably the fastest in the game. I mean, her jump is ridiculously fast. And so, you can provide so much pressure from the air with this character. And it's if you are not familiar with the pace of this game, you will just basically get completely overwhelmed. And yeah, I mean, we are 18 minutes into the stream, including all of our introductions and everything like that, and Ailerus is already at game point here, potentially 5-2.
Yeah, I mean, unless Servo makes some significant adjustments, which unfortunately it doesn't seem like there. I like the idea of sliding out there and trying to use that anti-air, but Ailerus doing a great job blocking the entire time. Does get hit there, but God, the jumps are so elusive on Ailerus.
Yeah, like I said, see how fast, and she's got a wall jump as well that can let her get out of the corner pretty nicely. Yeah, that's going to be punishable right there. And the regular throw, 1 bat down, 1 bat left to go. And like you said,
just another regular throw.
Yeah.
It's so impressive. Yeah, the pressure.
And one of the things that shows you how fast Felicia's jump is, when you air block a move, you can counterattack almost instantaneously. Servo did just that on an air block, and yet somehow Ailerus was able to land and block in time because her jump is so fast. The kitty corner pressure, he tried to punish the recovery, couldn't quite get it, tried to fish with the helicopter, using the invul on the startup of the Dark Force.
Oh!
Get getting the air throw at the end. Again, you know, this is very Guilty Gear style, Exerd style, I should say, where air throws are just the heavy punch button. And so what happens is that if you jump and hit heavy punch, if they're close enough, you air throw them. It is one of the world's oldest option selects, throw or attack. And
It's
so,
a good
you know,
option.
and not only that, but Felicia's jumping heavy punch is one of her best jump attacks. So it's just like, it's all there. It'll work for you. And it's great.
Yeah, so that's our exhibition. So that last match was really one of our longest, and I did time it. It was 1 minute and 6 seconds at one of our longest, just because I was curious. But Ailerus just showing why they're one of the best players in this game, and they're so much fun to watch, and they just do such a great job with that Felicia, and they make it. I think that's one of the things that I really like about Vampire Savior, is that because the game is so fast, it just makes you feel like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. There is no downtime in this game.
It's almost like when you're playing this online, it's almost like a battle royale. You know, when you lose a match, you just jump right into the next one. I mean, this game goes so fast, and I see a lot of people talking about the tiers in the chat over there. Yeah, the top 3 usually are Lord Raptor, Sasquatch, and QB, right? I thought Sasquatch was 3 after QB, but in the chat, Action Hank saying that it's Raptor, Sasquatch, QB, and then and then someone, I think after that, what is Bane, and then Hank also said Felicia, it might be 5th after that. So but again, not the biggest cast.
No, there's only 15 in the cast.
Yeah, I think so, something like that. I don't
there's
remember
15.
the exact number. Okay, yeah. But Fish Wolf Cat, there you go. Yeah, of course, Rico is really strong as well. But again, you know, as Mobius says in the chat, it gets really debatable at that point. And that's the thing about this game, right? I mean, when you let a game like this develop unchanged for a long time, you do end up getting this weird, like, the tiers start to really not matter as much because people figure out so much. I mean, in Super Turbo, famously, like, Fei Long had always been a bad character. Now all of a sudden he's considered like mid-high. T-Hawk developed all these techniques that, you know, thrust him away from being worst character in the game and such. But, you know, the tier, you can win with, I mean, just ask Mighty Mar, the best Anacrus player in NA. He's won so many tournaments with Anacrus, who, like I said, is one of the worst. Flo is one of the best with Victor. When he has been playing, I don't think he's played Vampire Savior recently, but he does really well with Victor. Victor and Anacrus are basically the 2 worst characters in the game.
Well, good to know. I'll make sure I don't pick them. So before we get into the mystery tournament part of this, let's explain a little bit to everybody who's joining us today what's going on. So in the Capcom Fighting Game Collection, the Capcom Fighting Collection, there's 10 games, and we are featuring 7 of them as part of the mystery tournament. So all 7 of these games, which are Red Earth, Night Warriors, Vampire Savior, Super Puzzle Fighter 2, Gem Fighter, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and Cyberbots, are all put on a wheel, and we spin the wheel per round. And everybody in that round, so like winners round 1, winners round 2, are going to play that game. And then that gets removed from the wheel. And then we spin it again until all the games are done. So last week, if you tuned in, we did get through all of those games, and we did get to spin the wheel again, which was really fun. We had some very exciting repeat games. Yeah. But it does give the opportunity for everybody to just really show off what they know about this collection. And speaking of this collection, let's talk a little bit about this sale.
Yeah, 25% off right now for the Capcom Fighting Collection on PlayStation platforms, on Switch, and on Steam currently. Again, 35% off for the Capcom Fighting Bundle, which is actually the Capcom Fighting Collection here with those 10 games that you mentioned, but then also the Street Fighter 30th anniversary, which has all the Street Fighter games from Street Fighter 2 all the way through Third Strike as well, including also a Capcom Capcom Arcade 3 Wonders game added in for a little bonus there. But last time I checked on Steam, this was, I think, under $40 for those 3 games. And again, for just a piece of history, this is wonderful. Again, they didn't, like, for history's sake, they didn't fix like the bugs, like you could still make characters disappear in Street Fighter 2, and you can still do all the crazy things, and you know, they did fix some bugs only for the games that can be played online for obvious reasons.
Right.
But outside of that, and they're still updating the game too, because there's a brand new update coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah, so and these actually are like really significant quality of life upgrades. So training mode update. First of all, there's a training mode in this. You can access it for every game. So if you want to lab these, you can do it. And honestly, it's a lot of fun to lab these games. I was doing it this week. So the first thing is there's now viewable hitboxes. Look at the hitboxes on those Cyberbots. They make no sense, but at least you know where they are.
Now, if you complain about a hitbox in an old game, you can definitely verify it now and just be like, oh, I see.
I understand why this didn't work.
Yes, and then Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, interesting, they added a bunch of different color options for this game. So, you know, if you want to add a little spice to the game, change things up a little bit, obviously you're going to have to make sure you know which colors are represented in the opponent's patterns. But once you figure out that, you can play with a variety of different colors, as you can see there on the left side. I think Valle called that the Lakers colors with the yellow and the purple over there. So, you know, us SoCal peeps over here are definitely going to appreciate that. But
yeah, and another thing you can do is you can confirm your network connection by color. If you didn't know that this collection has rollback netcode, and it's really good, honestly. It's a lot of fun to play on, and it feels really good. But if you want to just sort of vet those connections, make sure you're not on that 0 bar, you can now confirm it by color by change, and then you can also change the input delay settings for easy accessibility, which is a really nice option.
Yeah, which is really cool because, you know, depending on the connection quality, you might, like, if your connection quality is not going to be as good, you're going to want to change the input delay, you know, so it doesn't jump around as much and stuff. And so being able to change it on the fly like that is actually really cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. And we have word. It is time to spin the wheel, and I'm so excited.
Look, I'm just happy you got my reference. I kept saying it last week all the time. Wheel of Capcomality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the game that we must learn. Animaniacs reference, okay? For those of you who don't know, but...
Look, I was sitting watching all the episodes of Animaniacs, and we get... Cyberbots!
Yes.
Oh, let's go! All right, I'm going to channel my inner Zero. I need glasses because, oh my gosh. So Zero here last week was ridiculously excited about this. If you don't know, Zero is a huge Gundam fanatic. I think is like the lowest tier of fan that he is. So he had so many great things about this game, but that's the first game we are going to play. And one thing that got mentioned last week is that this is the game where it actually doesn't matter the character you pick, it matters the mech that you pick.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, you joked calling me the Chencyclopedia earlier today. Well, I mean, if I'm Wikipedia style over here, I definitely need someone to come and fill out the Cyberbots section for me a little bit, because this is probably one of the games, I mean, not counting Red Earth, because who the heck knows anything about Red Earth, but this is probably one of the games I know less about, but I definitely played it in the past. And, you know, I know, for example, all the different characters have, you know, the hover, the arm meter, basically the weapon meter. And again, one of my favorite things about this, and this is, you know, this is me being on my old man rant here, okay? I know all the modern UIs are about clean, solid, no gradients, you know, and Cyberbots is like true to my heart because everything about this game is not that. And like,
oh my god, no. It is so cluttered and janky.
And the meters are just like, for every style of robot, there's different meter styles, and like seeing like yet last week someone was playing Helion, and their hover meter is literally this part of the bar that lowers, and you see a light go through it, and whenever they let go, it closes back up again and stuff. The main boss of the game, their entire hover meter is based off of glowing eyes of the skull. Like there's a bunch of skulls along the thing, and the eyes glow across it to fill up it. Dude, I love that kind of thing.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that's really cool. I'd love to get to the final boss at some point, but so far I have died repeatedly trying to get there.
This was also the phase of really dirty CPUs. Trust me. That's how I used to play Cyberbots, was against the CPU, and trust me, I very rarely got to the boss.
Oh my gosh, the way that they can just read what you're going to do when you're playing through, you're like, you don't. How dare you know what I'm going to do?
Alpha 2 was the worst, because you hit jab and they would just super you. Like you just hit jab, and as soon as you touch the button, your jab is like coming out. It's in startup, and the computer's like super. And it's like, oh, really? God. Really? This is how you're gonna program the computer? Oh man.
Yeah, it's true. So if you're not familiar with this game, it's kind of like a 5-button-ish game that's got 2 attack buttons, a weapon button, a boost button, and then like a Giga Crush button. And actually in this collection, you can map your own buttons, which is really nice. So if you don't like the original layout, you can just do whatever you want. Many of the games in this collection do have like a double jump, and there isn't one in this game. Like that, if you're playing these like back to back, that did kind of freak me out a little bit, because I was like, why can't I double jump? Oh, I guess because I'm made of metal. Okay, sure. Right. And we already covered, like, there's a lot of different meters that you should pay attention to, because it's going to vary every game that we play. And again, only the mech choice matters within this. So you can pick whatever character you want. They're cool, and they do have their own stories within the game, like what those characters are doing, and the story's really interesting, but it's the mechs that matter.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's the main 4 class of mechs, right? There's the main 4 class, like the Blodia class, etc., etc., and they all have different personalities, but within each of those mech classes, there are 3 variations of that mech. So you can actually, there's like slight changes that you can have between, within the mech class itself. And then there's the boss characters, such as Helion, which I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, there's Devilot with the octopus robot as well. And Devilot is the character that has made a couple of cameos in other fighting games, but really outside of Devilot and Jin, we don't see a lot of the other characters in this game show up very much, very often.
Oh boy, here we go. So I like the 40 class a lot. I think those are really fun. But what are we gonna get? So
looks like we've got golden class right there going off on Vice. Oh no, wait. Oh no, he chose the Devilot vehicle. He used the input.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh, sneaky. I like this. So now we get to see Super 8 just being all across the screen, all the legs and all of the fire and the bombs.
Yeah, so now MVC 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Devilot was one of the assists that you can pick. She came out and did an unblockable explosion that could hit either character. And if you actually see, this is what she shows up in. The Super 8 crawls out of a hole in the ground. She pops out of the top of it, does the Karen Ojo laugh, and then it explodes, basically. So now you know what she's in when that thing shows up.
Which, I mean, I would laugh like that too if I showed up in this. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
but already,
our 2 players here, Moo Master and June, starting off for this tournament. And like I said, these are hidden boss characters that you can pick with secret inputs. And I miss secret inputs getting boss characters in old fighting games, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I have a story about that, but when we random that game, I'll tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun one. But I love how already, like, you can see the difference in the meters that are showing up. So you have, like, it looks like basically a radio station on the side of Moo Master.
Yeah.
And the different there's just so much going on,
Yeah.
honestly.
So there's the armor, the weapon, and the boost meters are the main ones right there. Now for Super 8, I'm not exactly sure how her weapon meter is working with the W over there, but you know, for Jackal over there, you can see it's pretty straightforward. There's an arm meter, there's a weapon meter. If you take damage on the arm, your arm drops off. You have to pick it up again. That yellow bar is the boost meter over there. But like I said, I just love the fact that every character just has a wildly different design, you know, UI. The health bar is the same, but everything around it is different. And that, like I said, there's just something about that level of detail, you know, making you feel like each mech has their own like internal UI. It's just really such a neat touch.
It really is. Wow, and that went down to like pixels.
Oh my
Absolute
god!
pixels, and June took it. Now, Moonmaster really looked like they were in control for so much of that, but then June just kept chipping away, chipping away. We get a huge combo, and then chip away again. So these are going to be first to 3. Go through those. Well, I think does it depend on the game?
No,
It
we're doing
is
first to 3,
for everything?
even
Okay.
Puzzle Fighter.
Oh, baby. I do love
man.
some Puzzle Fighter. All right, so are we going to get the secret inputs again?
Probably. I mean, I would
love
imagine
that.
so. Moonmaster, like you said, very close, and so it didn't seem like there was really any sort of character changes here. Now, again, you know, if you ask me anything about tier lists and matchups and all that stuff like that, I cannot tell you anything about that. Maybe somebody in the chat here who is an expert, you know, at Cyberbots can definitely inform us like which characters are considered top tier and such. But again, you know, just the way the characters play, it's just so fascinating. Like, and again, this is when Capcom was really trying to be experimental with their fighting games. I mean, nowadays we kind of just see Capcom as like one fighting game at a time, but back then they were just churning these things out and trying to do everything differently.
Yeah, I mean, this entire collection comes out between 1994 and 1998 for the most part.
Okay.
I think there's like one that came out in 2002, but that's the outlier. And then that just sort of goes to show that they really were churning these out. Speaking of churning out, Moonmaster is churning out a ton of damage onto to June, but this is where June comes back. What is that? You have like a vacuum laser.
Oh my god. But yeah, here we go. Gets the throw here, gets the jump in, but too shallow, which means that Moonmaster is going to be able to throw. And there you go. Moonmaster taking one round here. And it is 1-0 for June right now, so...
Oh, wow, just good. Oh, that's such a creepy move. What a fantastic animation, but that's so eerie.
Dude, do you like the way that Super 8 could just kind of manually detach the arm? Remember, if you take a lot of arm damage, you lose your arm. But that Super 8 can actually fire off the arm and have it crawl across the screen and automatically basically lose your arm. Ooh, Supers, watch out.
Oh my gosh. With the magnet and the throw, too, that was so dominant.
Wait,
Moonmaster...
was that? Is that a full screen throw? What? Can somebody... what?
What's the damage?
Can someone let me know exactly how that works? Because if that's a full screen throw, I'm playing this character.
Yo, like, let me learn the input because I love stuff like that. Please.
Oh man.
That was crazy. What an eerie design. And like for the time that this came out, so this was released in May 1994. What advanced movement with the graphics.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I mean, you know, for us Super Nintendo freaks, a lot of mode 7, I think, going on, you know, but yeah, what a cool design for the character, and yeah, just getting throw after throw after throw.
Oh, and the arm is off too. Like you just don't have an arm, and you're in between the other character. You're not getting that back. You're just dead. I feel like now that Moonmaster has figured out that move, it's over.
Dude, Moonmaster has just been throwing June over and over again here. That's like the entire strategy at this point now. And you can see one of the cool things about this, again, you know, even shades of like before MVC 2 came out, but you know, their ability to shoot lasers in all the different directions and really, you know, cover the screen because of the ability to hover and such. You know, they wanted to make sure everybody had all sorts of different angles of attack and stuff, controlling full full screen spacing, and you know, one of the greatest things about a lot of these old fighting games is projectile system to be able to control screen. And what the heck, did you just chip him to death with your arm?
I think they did. I was just watching that arm go across the screen. I'm like, buddy, where you blocking? Nobody's blocking that. And, you know, I was thinking too, Moonmaster at one point jumped and then used that, you know, the boost to get all the way up into the air. I was like, it doesn't matter that this game doesn't have double jumps. You're in the sky. The game has no idea where you are. The whole match is taking place in the air.
Yeah, and absolutely. Look, I'm just telling you right now, you know, the whole strategy of fighting games, if you're new to fighting games, if one thing's working, keep doing it. If the opponent does not figure out how to stop it, there is no reason to change. One of the things that you can do to kill yourself the most at fighting games is, I'm doing this move too much. Let me change it up just to be nice and to have variety. No. If your opponent doesn't know how to stop a move, do it until they're dead. That's just how it works.
Do it until they're dead or until they learn.
Exactly.
Because we gonna learn today.
And if they don't learn, good. Easy win, right?
Exactly. Look, all's fair in love and fighting games. And okay, finally, there was an adjustment from June. That was 2 throws, but then Moonmaster legitimately has some tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, and I will say, June did switch to Tarantula now, so a different mech here. But here we go again. Let's see if, look at the jump attack has been so good over there. You see how far it hits down, and like you said, by hovering in the air, it's very easy to get into that space, to go for that, into the tick throws. Nice! Here comes June with the potential comeback. No, it's the throw again from Moonmaster.
Every time. And I loved during that whole exchange, the arm was just slowly crawling away off screen.
And see this background? Like, this is kind of stuff I miss. You know, and it's interesting because, like, obviously this is like they're like on an asteroid or something and it's just breaking off and like the piece is flying away to another part or something like that.
It's like the Parthenon in the background.
and you know what's interesting about it is there's something to that, like practical effects versus CG effects. Like, yeah, in 3D games it's easy to do stuff like this, but when you see it in this old 2D art, there's just a charm in it that I just feel like is like, you get to see it and be like, that's so cool how they did that, you know?
It's so cool. Oh, June finally getting a little bit of a damage back there. I thought Moonmaster was going to take it after that throw again, but I think they need to make some changes. Oh, I do like it reminds me a lot of Doom, just throwing missiles from off screen. It's got a lot of that energy. They are hidden missiles. I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, and again, you know, a lot of those super long range attacks like we saw with Jackal previously with the lasers and such, you know, that is the weapon meter. And so, you know, that's the key thing about the weapon meter is that you can't spam those moves because they're like, you know, standard League of Legends weapon cooldown. See, every time you see him shoot those missiles, you can see the WP on June's side empty out and he has to have it fill up before he can use it again. But a cross-up jump attack from Moonmaster is indeed gonna let him advance forward to the next round. 3, 2, 1.
I love that win quote. Try again in a few years. The win quotes in these games, they do not hold back. Just like, try again. It's not even like cute, sad, little like, you did okay. It's like, sucks to suck, do better. But it was intended to irritate you so that you just put in another quarter and you get flags. You're like, I will not be insulted.
Oh man, go home and be a family man. You know?
Go home and be. Exactly. Oh, I love that one.
Super Nintendo win quote there. Oh man. But yeah, so again, just so as a review to people who are watching this right now, the entire first round will be Cyberbots. So the next 3 matches that we get on stream will all be Cyberbots. We respin the wheel for every single round. And so we'll be trying to get up the next players over here again. But, you know, I was talking about the backgrounds, right? Like, for example, one of my favorite backgrounds of all time is Wolverine stage in Marvel Superheroes, because you fight like on a bridge and then eventually when the round transitions to round 2, the bridge breaks, you all fall into a river, and you're like in a river rapids, and in the background you just see like the canyon walls going back, and it's just like going, and this is all done in 2D, you know, like sprite based artwork, and that level of charm, and like I said, like practical effects versus CGI, you know, to see the amount of effort and work and the tricks that they use to create a lot of those is one of the things, in my opinion, that makes a lot of these games have so much charm and longevity to them.
Right, I don't think, you know, some people say it's like nostalgia goggles or something, especially for people like of our generation who, like, we did grow up playing these games and we had Super Nintendos, and this looks very nostalgic to us, but there is something really, like you said, it's really charming and about how it looks, but also as we get older we have so much more respect for the effort and the time and the development that went into making these things look as good as it did. Like, I was actually really surprised going back into looking at these games when they were released, because when they were released, that means they've been in development for at least a year or more. I mean, a year if they're turning it out very, very quickly. But it's just incredible that the advancements that were able to come out of this generation of games.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna be the old man here, okay? Look, sprites, they age better than some of those older 3D graphics, okay? You look at some of those old PlayStation games and look, they don't look so good anymore.
Oh, they surely
but, you know,
do not.
You look at something like Vampire Savior, like I said, to me, best sprite-based fighting game ever. And that game will never age. It's never going to look bad, in my opinion. But, I think we have... Okay, actually, we're going to spin the wheel again. We did say it would be for all 4 games in this first round, but unfortunately... we have a lot of DQs here, so that's the only Cyberbots we're gonna see at the start here. Yay! We're going straight to round 2 on winner's side. Wheel of Capcomality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the game that we will learn. It is
Night Warriors!
Oh, man.
Buddy! What a game.
Yeah, again, Night Warriors, it's so interesting. One of the reasons why I love the fact that they have all the Darkstalkers game. Now, you know, I don't want to say Vampire Savior and Vampire Hunter 2 aren't as important, but, you know, there's a reason why those games are created. But the first 3 games, Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, and Vampire Savior, watching the transition between Darkstalkers all the way through Vampire Savior and seeing how the game changed, like seeing how the original Darkstalkers was just this big old experiment, like Capcom just threw everything at the wall and was like, let's try everything that we could do to change things up. And then as it went, it evolved a lot. So it's really interesting to see how the games change. And so, you know, if you do love Vampire Savior, you've even watched a lot of Vampire Savior, go back and play Darkstalkers. You'll be like, well, this game is slower. The meter is weird. Like, what? Yeah. Wait, the input to this special move is quarter circle forward, back to down. 3
yeah, talk about what? People are like, oh, you know, let me readjust what I'm going to say. People have words about how there's some modern inputs, say, for certain characters in Guilty Gear Strive, that are very difficult. Please just look once at some of the inputs in this, in these character lists. I was going through them. I think I played Morrigan through most of these, and a couple Sasquatch, because Sasquatch just makes me happy. And I was looking, and I was like trying to do some inputs, and then I would get further down the list, and I was like, you know what? I don't need arthritis today. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously simplified a lot of things down by the time they got to Vampire Savior, because they're like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be this experimental, but, you know, like Anacharus, you know, his jumping curse in the original Darkstalkers, right now it's just Fireball, it's quarter circle forward in Vampire Savior, but in the original game, it's forward, back, down, forward. Like, it's like a longer DP. But most people did it by just doing 2 half circle forwards. Like, that's how most people just did it. You know, there were so many odd inputs in that game. And, you know, I liked it. I liked that they were trying to experiment and see what they could get away with. And, you know, it's really, really fast. And there's so many, like, hidden little things about the special moves as well. Like Bishamon has like there's ESs, which is the enhanced version of existing special moves, and EXs, which are the only meter exclusive moves. Bishamon had the 9-hit sword chop. Well, actually, it was only a 3-hit sword chop, which was the ES extension, but he had an EX one that you had to do charge back, back, forward, and then either 3 punches or 3 kicks. And so that sounds like, okay, I've seen that in Street Fighter. The thing about it is if you charge back and do back, forward, and nothing, Bishamon automatically just starts walking. He just starts walking forward, and then you can actually walk a distance before you hit 3 punches and 3 kicks, and then he triggers the sword slash. Like, they just did all sorts of crazy things.
That's so janky. Like, why? I mean, you know what? I don't ask questions. I mean, it sounds, part of me is like, that sounds terrible. And then the aggressor in me is like, that's fantastic. I love this. Let me learn how to do that. So,
yeah, there's so much fascinating stuff in this game.
There really is. And one of my favorite things that I've learned, it doesn't even have to do with the gameplay. Did you know that this game has its own anime?
Yes, yes.
And so I was like, what is this? So I was diving into who, like, the producer and what they did. It's the same production company that did Hunter x Hunter and One Punch Man.
Oh, really?
Yes. The same company. Like, that blew my mind. I was like, well, let me go back and see this.
I have the anime on VHS.
I love
and
this.
I will say this, that it is like probably some of my favorite Morrigan, like the way they draw Morrigan in that game, because she's got such a distinct face. In the original Darkstalker, she had such a distinct face in the intro scene and all that stuff like that, and they translated it so beautifully to the anime. It's like some of my favorite Morrigan art is from that anime.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that we could geek about this together. See, this is exactly what I wanted. I was like, I just learned, like, going through these games. These were games that I was familiar with and had played, and then, you know, in getting ready to, you know, talk about all of this in the mystery tournament, I was just like, let's really deep dive into some stuff, and I was finding out the weirdest things, and I was like, really? An anime? And so I was like, tried to see what the studio was, and then I was like, oh, this is a really well-renowned studio. This is crazy.
It's, yeah, and again, you know, the way that these fighting games were back then, you know, the reason why Capcom and so many companies were trying to churn these things out was because of how popular they were, especially in the Japanese arcades, right? Because the arcade culture in Japan was still going very, very strong at that time. And, and it was interesting because, you know, a lot of people talk about Capcom as being the premier company at that time, and it's because they were a lot of people trying to make, you know, their own fighting games and stuff. But look at this, Capcom turning out all these fighting games, and the quality of every single one of these is just so high and so good. You know, please
continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and they've held up really well. I mean, I remember with Vampire Savior, this my very first combo breaker back in 2018. The first Sunday game was Vampire Savior, and that was my first, like, exposure to the game at a very high level, and I was just transfixed the entire time. I was like, how and what, and this is so interesting.
Mm-hmm. And again, you know, like I said, it's never going to age. The game is going to look beautiful, like, till the end of time. And I've pointed this out many times, and you know, this might be something that you might even want to look at as well. But there's a guy on Twitter named Art Eater. I don't know if you've seen him before. Richmond Lee is his real name. And a long time ago, he wrote an article talking about why Vampire Savior is some of the best sprite work ever, talking about I think it's the 7 principles of animation, which he talked about anticipation and stretching and squishing and all these different things. And he shows examples of all of that throughout all of the Darkstalkers sprites. And it's such a great article, and I recommend it every time people get exposed to Darkstalkers games.
I absolutely want to. So I'm gonna write that down because that sounds like something that's right up my alley, being a very artistic type. And look at the sprite work in this. So this is before Vampire Savior, and it just looks so good.
And again, you'll see a lot of differences. Like in this one here, that's the other crazy thing too, is that Night Warriors and Vampire Savior, between the two games, they actually risked changing the characters significantly. So the way Sasquatch works in this game is so different than how he works in Vampire Savior. Like in the original Darkstalkers, he was even more kind of a zoning character because he had a real fireball that just went across the screen, and they were willing to actually change the way a lot of the characters work a lot, and it's really interesting.
This is fascinating. There's so much history and so much rich history involved in this. So
I mean, even graphically, like graphically and gameplay wise, Dimitri's fireball, if you've seen, when it hits the enemy, they get into a burn and oh my god, might kill.
Oof.
Oh my god, it's so close.
It is really close.
But yeah, see, this fireball actually goes clear across the screen. Ooh, too early on the uppercut. But, what I was saying about Dimitri's fireballs, if he hits you, he puts you into a burn animation, and you're kind of stuck in this burn animation for a little bit before you can move. That's actually the real. And then in Vampire Savior, instead of throwing a fireball, he throws a bat. And when the bat hits you, it chews on you for a while and flies away. Like, functionally, they both behave really similar, but they made that change just because, and I'm not sure why, but, these are the things that they were willing to do.
I mean, I'm all for taking risks, especially if they're successful. Wow, that uppercut from Dimitri looks really ambiguous, and it just hits.
Yeah. Also, I'm sure if you probably watched a lot of Seth in Street Fighter V, yes. And one of Seth's V skill is that little command dash. And what it is it's actually Dimitri's dash, because Dimitri, if you DP, he goes straight up. If you dash and DP, he goes diagonal, which is exactly what Seth is doing. And then Seth also has the ability to disappear, warp to the sky, and drill down. And that's the bat cradle, and that's the bat upper in this game. And of course, in the bat spin, I should say, is the name of the DP. And if you look at Seth's move list in Street Fighter V, he uses the mad drill and the mad spin.
Oh, that's so cool. Like, what a neat piece of information to know and historically come back to that. So, because these games are, their successors, is the tier list relatively similar for this, or because it's like they made some significant changes for Vampire Savior, totally different?
No, very, very different. Okay. Very different. In fact, I've heard, and people in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but like Morrigan, who's one of the worst characters in Vampire Savior, I actually think in the original Vampire, I think she's one of the best. Bishiman is without a doubt the best in Night Warriors. Like, that's the character I played, and it was just, I didn't realize how cheap he was, but playing him, I figured it out, and sure enough, he's basically the best character in this game. So the tier list is very different between that's right, Sasquatch had a Tatsu in this game. He has a spin kick in this game.
It's like Yeti Tornado?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, Sasquatch, I tried to play him in between this and Vampire Savior, and I was like, my brain hurts because this is not the same character.
Yeah, very, very. And again, so many of these characters just have so many moves. Like Victor in the original Darkstalkers and in Night Warriors, he had like at least 10 different throws. Like he just had like so many different ways to create like so many different throw animations. Yeah, there it is. There's the Tatsu. Let's go. Oh, you're gonna get chipped. 7 seconds left on the clock. Yobi's gotta get in there. 2 seconds and yeah, just turtling it out. Peace Kelly gonna take it by the timer scam.
Cry.
He gets the Elliott victory over there, as you saw, one by a special and one by time over. So we got the TS, the wins over there. And you know, some of these old classic games, whenever they showed you your round win, they would tell you how you won. Like, for example, if you won by block damage in Alpha 1 or Alpha 2, your victory, your icon would be a block of cheese.
I love that. Can we bring that back? I want all of the cheese. And then, you know, we have to have like a tournament and we'd have the trophies be cheese. That would be perfect.
That would be amazing.
I need this in my life. Somebody make this happen.
Oh God, you know what? We need to make a cheese trophy for an Alpha tournament. That's it right there.
Yep.
Alpha 2 tournament, the cheese
Done.
trophy.
Congratulations, you have won this cheese. And it would be the most...
And again, you know, that's part of that aesthetic that I'm talking about. I mean, look at the UI in this game. It is very decorative, like the flashiness, the transparency, you know, the little subtle bat icon around the timer and everything. The portraits have like the painting frame around it. And I miss this aesthetic, and I know I'm an old man. Like, the future is now old man, but like, I don't like modern graphic aesthetic. I'll be honest with you.
Well, you know, even with this aesthetic, something that I harp on a lot, especially because there's so many like indie fighting games in development and stuff like that miss the continuity and the readability. Because there are some things that I've been seeing recently, like there's no continuity in the text and it makes it difficult to figure out what's going on. You can't figure out what's going on in the hitboxes. This is all very, very clear. I can understand everything that's going on, and it still has a beautiful artistic flair to it without taking away from what's going on screen.
And I will say, very coincidentally, we were talking about the concept of time to learn, son. You're gonna learn today, son.
We gonna learn today.
Earlier. And shout outs to Justin Wong for the raid over here. We are playing some Capcom Fighting Collection mystery tournament. Every round we are changing which game on the collection is being played for this tournament. And I'm James, and I'm joined here by Jaidlyn, and we have a desync, ladies and gentlemen.
A desync. Yeah,
we have a
desync.
Just in time. Oh, that was not a pun on purpose. Oh my God. Oh,
was it not?
No, it was not.
You should have taken credit for that. That was fantastic.
We
take those.
Just in time. Just in time is he comes in and causes desyncs. That's how it works. So.
It was too hype. It was too hype. I love these cute little like Kirby's in chat, and what are the ones? I love them. They're such good emotes. Yeah, the peepee-mees, and the popicos, they're amazing. Justin parried the whole tournament. He surely did.
Dude,
and
come
we
on.
appreciate it.
No. Remember, Battle Athlete. The tournament parried Justin. No, just kidding.
Wow.
Sorry, Justin.
Vicious.
I love you.
So Kyobi is going to get one on the board since the opponent was the one who crashed. We're going to keep these pretty much tournament regulation rules. But yes, thank you everybody who is joining us here, both from wherever you came from on Twitch and from Justin's stream. We appreciate you being here. We are, I believe, now 2 rounds into the mystery tournament. We did start this whole thing off with a Vampire Saviors exhibition that was in... that was between Ailerus and Servo, and Ailerus took that one with their incredible Felicia gameplay. So that was a really great way to start this entire thing off. But we're getting back into it. Peace, Kelly, up to...
Hey, Mike Lee, I see what you're doing in there. No coaching, man. No coaching. No, I was kidding.
we have a timer on that, and you know we have a timer on that in live matches. So we'll do a text regulation. You get 10 characters. Coaching 10 characters or less.
Well, P. Skelly here was up 2-0, now only up 2-1 right now, but there we go. Jumps into the DP, could have been air blocked at that point in time. So, you know, this is one of the first games to really introduce air blocking. And, you know, speaking of the transition of how the whole thing worked, like Night Warriors and Alpha games had the air blocking in which as long as the move wasn't grounded, like if it didn't count as standing on the ground, like the first few frames of a DP, you could not air block it. But then when they went to Children of the Atom, that was the first game where they said, you know what, let's see if we can make a fighting game where you could just air block everything, like no matter what, and see if the game can still be playable and stuff. And like I said, it's just one of the cool things that Capcom was working so hard on the variety and trying and experimenting, you know, with their fighting games at that time. And it's one of the things that I really, really, you know, miss is that kind of experimental phase that they had. And honestly, one of the reasons why I really like DNF Duel, because I feel like DNF Duel is kind of like a spiritual Darkstalkers game.
I can definitely, having played them both now, really see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
Also, just for a second, can we talk about all the cute baby Sasquatches?
Did you see Sasquatch with his finger on the floor after the timeout animation? He was so sad.
You made Sasquatch cry. Sasquatch will make you pay.
Also, Sasquatch, I think, is the first. Because see, when Darkstalkers originally came out, one of the vestige things left over from Street Fighter was, for no reason, they decided to assign a country to every character. So every character had a country that they came from. And Sasquatch is from Canada, so he might be the first Canadian fighting game character. So just letting you know.
I mean, it tracks, but isn't he a little too mean to be Canadian?
He's a nice guy. You saw the little tears coming out?
I know, that's true.
One of his taunts, he waves at you. Oh, actually, no, that's when the whale throws you out of the water. He, like, waves at you and stuff like that, so.
Wait, whale? Who has a whale?
In Vampire Savior, actually, I think he has it in this game. He does the Sub-Zero thing where he freezes the floor, and if you're standing on it, you go, and you fall in there, and then the whale tail spits you out of the water,
That's
basically.
right.
And yeah, and he goes off to the side as he waves at you. So
This game is so spectacular. But the more that I hear about it, the more I'm like, I just need to play this even more. And it's so fun.
I spent I keep saying this and I haven't put it on YouTube yet, but I did a 4-hour stream when this first came out of me just gushing over all the animations and Easter eggs of Vampire Savior. And the craziest thing was there were Vampire Savior players in the chat and they were like, I never knew about this Easter egg. I never knew about this. And then I was talking to Yeti Ghetto Slang at East Coast Throwdown and I was telling him about that. And he was like, yeah, there's that one thing you can do with Victor after his 720. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Dude, like, there's so much in this game. You're just, like, always discovering, dude. It's so crazy.
It is crazy. So now...
Quetzal. Quetzal is an interesting character because when he jumps, he hovers in the air a little bit and you can drop him down. And so you can jump and come back down really fast. And basically everything he does basically becomes instant overheads.
Oh,
but
wow.
he is another character like Bishamon, like Raptor, that has two varieties of all of his normal moves in which he can do the forward version and the neutral/back versions of the ground moves. Oh, he's trying to chip him, but wasn't enough to kill! Oh my god, and we start with a double KO?
This is ridiculous. That's insane. I'm absolutely floored. You must be joking.
What a way to start, Moonmaster versus Hokuto. And Hokuto, of course, was our champion last week. Hokuto, a player from Mexico, one of the strongest NA claw players that we have in Super Turbo. And in fact, makes him one of the strongest players in NA period in Super Turbo. He's very, very good at a lot of these old school fighting games. You can tell he has a lot of history with these games, and he definitely knows what he's doing. But Quetzal, not considered one of the top characters in this game, but you could definitely do damage with him if you... See, there's the air blocking. If you know what you're doing, he's got these full screen lasers, and man, do you see how the way that he glows when he throws those lasers again?
Yeah.
Like the way the lighting affects it. It's just,
it is beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking too when he does that block animation and he's got that just screen in front of him, that almost plasma-esque screen, and it's showing all of the rainbow colors and how gorgeously it's done. It makes me want to have that style. Not necessarily the sprite animations in a modern fighting game because I don't think it would fit appropriately, but I just want those colors and that sort of genius behind the art that made everything so unique. Oh, he said, nope, no more of that. I will also Sasquatch.
And once again, our players decided to use, obviously, two extremely distinct colors, so it's very clear which one is which. Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think okay, so Hokuto is the brighter yellow one.
Okay, good.
Oh god, that wind pose that Sasquatch just did, where he puts his hand in the air and raises his fist and has the mouth open like that. There's such an interesting trivia glitch with that wind pose on the Sega Saturn version, because the Sega Saturn version didn't have enough memory to load all the sprites at once, so that version cut out a lot of the sprites. And the bug that they had is when he does that wind pose, since one of the sprites is cut out, I think they programmed him to do his close fierce button for a certain number of frames. But because they cut out one frame, he actually goes one more frame further than the hand stretched out up into the air, and he looks like he does like a Native American pose where he like holds his palm out. And like, it's really weird.
How bizarre. What an extremely strange thing to have to code around. Shout outs to programmers for having to figure all of this out on the regular.
All right.
Yeah, so
and you know, they're adding the hitbox viewer to this game. The Sega Saturn version actually had a hitbox viewer in the game, but it was another one of those secret codes. You actually had to set the internal clock of the Sega Saturn to a specific day, and then do like some code input on the title screen, and then you could get the hitbox viewer in game. In my memory, it's the first instance of a hitbox viewer in a home version of a fighting game in history.
That's insane. God, they have so many of the same ideas, and they'll just hit each other, and they all fall down the same way. I love the throw animation as well. Oh, so Moo Master threw, Hokuto threw, Moo Master then threw.
You know what? Moo Master's learning from his Cyberbots strategy, right? Just throw with Super 8 all day.
I mean, honestly, it's still working. Moo Master is up to against, like you said, last week's champion in Hokuto. What a nice first attack too, with the anti-air coming in.
As I love playfully called the Ice Castle, and you know, I love the fact that I've spread that to Yeti Ghetto Slang, and now he calls it that too. So
it's all about how we can get the weirdest terminology to take.
Yep.
What's going to become canon?
Look at that! Look, he dissed himself.
Oh, that is hilarious. I love all of this.
And it's so interesting too, because that Ice Castle, you know, has Zangief like lariat properties, in that it was designed to be the anti-projectile move in the original Darkstalkers. If you just did the Ice Castle, projectiles would go right through you. It was like kind of an anti-projectile move and an anti-air move. And definitely changed to the point where in Vampire Savior you only use the ES version, because then it shoots the ice columns all the way across the screen. You almost if you ever see anyone do the regular Ice Castle in Vampire Savior, guaranteed it was a mistake.
They're wrong. They're just wrong. It was incorrect. Oh, Battle Athlete was saying that the clock in the Saturn had so many cool secrets with it. I did not have a Saturn. I was pretty much all of the Nintendo growing up.
Yeah,
so
I mean, as a fighting game person, the Sega Saturn was the best fighting game console of its time. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but like Alpha 3 on PlayStation was awesome because it had the World Tour mode and all this stuff like that. And Vampire, there was a Darkstalkers 3 on PlayStation as well. However, the weird part about it was that they weren't arcade accurate. But the Saturn, because the Saturn was a 2D game machine at heart, all the games were extremely arcade accurate, and they are also arcade accurate on this collection as well. So again, if you are enjoying this and you want to pick up all of this history in a disc, because they also have a lot of, like, I think they have a music player, they have a lot of like museum artwork kind of things like that. I used to save all of the official Darkstalkers art that I could find on the internet on my 3.5 floppy disks, which I probably still have somewhere in a closet. But you can pick all that up for 25% off right now. Capcom Fighting Collection just came out, already available, 25% off or 35% off that game, plus 30th anniversary, plus a Capcom Arcade 3 Wonders bundle as well.
Yeah, and this is only for a limited time, so if you want to pick this up, like, go ahead and do it now. And it's, like, even the regular price isn't that bad, so it being on sale is even better. And, like, for somebody, like, you're talking about all the art that you saved, I would sit in front of our TV with our Super Nintendo, like, on pause screens with my tape recorder so I could record all the music that I liked. I would make mixtapes from the Super Nintendo games that I liked, and so, like, this is my life.
You are speaking to me on a level you don't even understand. Me and my brother, I have still all of our audio cassettes of all the video game music we recorded from all of the NES games and Super NES games and stuff, so we could listen to them in the car for sure.
Oh yeah, it's true. I feel like I have found my old school game soulmate.
Exactly. We are each other's spirit animals.
It's true, and they're both cats.
Yeah, yes, 100%. And we've got the Felicia. Mikey is actually in the tournament using, and you saw him trying to coach Kyobi with the Sasquatch.
It's
so let's
true.
see if if the coach can play as well.
Yes, can the coach play? And Battle Athlete who here as well, who has been an excellent part of this conversation, doing some really great stuff with some throws, but unfortunately, I love that name too, a Mikey story.
Yeah, I mean, again, a Battle Athlete just wants that puzzle fighter, because that is definitely his game of expertise. Oh, actually, he thought he was going to go to the other side. He tried to command grab with Sasquatch, but he accidentally ended up doing a fireball. But yeah, Sasquatch has a command grab where he swallows you, spits you out in ice, and then he can dash up and combo you out of it, and it does more damage than like any of his other possible throws because he can combo off of it.
So I've noticed when we're playing through the Darkstalkers series games, they'll have like a little bit of chunk of health. Is that recoverable health, or like what we would consider recoverable health, or does that vary game to game in this series?
Only in Vampire Savior. So Vampire Savior has the white health. In all the other games, it's just standard bar, standard rounds. Vampire Savior was the one where they tried to change it drastically. And, one of the funny stories that I always like to tell is that the way they did the white health in Vampire Savior is it flickered white and gone, white and off. So it was kind of like a flashing thing. However, it flickered at the speed of 60 frames per second, right? Standard. All of our old video formatting, like Real Media and old MPEGs and all that stuff, was 30 frames per second. And so most of the time, if you watch old Vampire Savior videos on your computer, the bar would either just be solid white or you wouldn't see the white health at all. Because it was only repeating every other frame.
So it just depended where it landed.
Yeah, we actually lost the flashing white health from those games.
That's crazy. What an interesting interaction.
Yeah. So many, I mean, again, I used to make combo videos that were like 10 megs, and people would be like, can you make them smaller, James? It takes forever to download them on my 56, on my, 36K modems and stuff.
Look, all these Zoomers do not understand the struggles that we grew up with and we had. The dial tones were real. It haunts me in my dreams.
Oh, man. Oh, dang. I've had knots in my hair that were harder to take out than you. Come on, Sasquatch. Come on, Sasquatch.
Wow. Oh, that's dangerous,
And again,
man.
one of my favorite Felicia drawings is that one right there. That was just in that character select screen. I love that Felicia drawing in game.
And I like too how this entire collection is framed by artwork as well. And you can change that artwork as too, which I think is such a neat little feature to go around and see all the different artwork you can have with it. So Battle Athlete may not get their chance to do Super Puzzle Fighter in winners.
Yeah, I know.
Because Mike Lee Story is doing a great job just taking them out with Sasquatch. I mean, I like the ideas that Battle Athlete has. It just seems like Felicia's not putting out the same damage at all.
I will say, too, that you can also take away the artwork and actually stretch the graphics of the game so it fills the whole entire screen. But if you do that, you're wrong. I'm just saying.
I wish chat could have seen my face, because I think my jaw went to the floor and my eyebrows were following quickly, because I was like, oh, why would you do that?
Oh man, I did notice that we don't have the scan lines on here this week, but you know, I won't go into my my soapbox of why it's
like
better with the scan lines. So.
I was ranting to my chat about them this week when I was playing. I was like, no, you keep them on.
Oh, here we go, whale tail.
Oh, there he goes. That's so cute. I love this. I love all of this. Oh, wow. And he just chopped. I love how he chopped, he won, and then the other cat just came through and he's like, oh, crap, that hurt.
Yeah. The cat was like, I don't care if Felicia lost. Revenge!
Avenge me!
Oh, man.
Wow,
Yeah,
so that was a swift 3-0. And we get to spin the wheel again. Oh, baby!
Let's do this. Find out what next old school game that we're gonna play. So let's
a
bring
Mike Lee
out...
Story said he did that just so we could see it. I appreciate it. I appreciate that with all of my heart, that you could show that off and then also win.
Oh man, and see, you know, I was commenting earlier about the blue hair that you have right now. Like, I feel like you did that for Felicia, right? You did that just for
obviously.
Felicia, right? Yeah,
definitely.
You knew you were commentating some Felicia matches here, so you're like, I'll match the hair.
Oh, absolutely, it's perfect. So we're gonna spin.
You know what? Yeah, hang on. Wheel of Capcomality. Turn. Tell us the game that we must learn. Oh, too late for battle.
Oh, no!
Athlete. Wait, actually, if we're going to loser's side, maybe he will get to play this.
Ooh.
Maybe he will.
Maybe he will.
But I feel like maybe one of these days I should try dyeing my hair blue. Just so my mom could be even that much more mad at the state of my hair right now. So,
I mean,
look, she's definitely not a fan of pandemic lockdown hair James right now. Let me tell you.
But it's so pretty. I've come to the conclusion in my time as a fighting game commentator that fighting game commentators either have the most beautiful hair or no hair. There is no in between. Like, everybody either has the most fabulous, wonderful, delightful locks of hair, or they are completely bald. And I have yet to find anybody else.
Shout outs to Jeremy. Anyways,
Jeremy rocks it. He's doing great.
I tell him that all the time, but look, he is one sad boy. So.
Oh, he's so great.
Dude, I mean, Sajam hair, Ringe hair. Let's talk about that.
Oh
Ringe.
my god. When he comes and it's like all the curls are moisturized and everything. Like, if you've not seen that in its full glory, you have not experienced Ringe. And then he can just be like, and stick it all on top of his head. And I'm like, my head hurts from that weight. And I don't know how you're doing it, 'cause you have more hair than I do. You got beautiful hair. One of the many people who look just like Sajam. Oh, he's gonna kill me for saying that. They took a picture together at Evo, and it's driving me crazy.
I mean, according to the internet, everybody looks just like
That's
Sajam,
true.
right? Is it Ultra David? Is it Giuna? Is it?
Oh, I saw that chart too. Here, I'm gonna go and check, because we commentated together this week. Jake Ryan. Jake Ryan also has fabulous hair.
Dude, he looks like he has the Sajam hair, and he has the Sajam voice too. So
he does. He really does. And then they sat next to each other, and it was like, what? All Sajams look the same. You're right.
I mean, to be fair, both of them have that same kind of nasally voice because both of them wrestled in high school and both of them injured their noses, I think, in the same way in high school. So that's why they have that sound.
That explains so much. Okay. I appreciate that as the resident voice expert. I was like, oh, okay, that's clear. Well, you just don't have the resonance in your sinus passages anymore. Great, cool.
Dude, is that actually true that Battle Athlete has a bye on this round so he doesn't get to play Puzzle Fighter? Oh my god. It's like not even just that he didn't get to play it in the first round. Like they are serious, like they're needling him. Like the orange Jesus right now is just
Orange Jesus is not in your favor, my guy.
And yeah, and here we go, P. Skelly going with that Devilot over here. So again, the two people sitting next to her are her co-pilots. So when, like, even in MVC, when I said she comes out and does the assist, when she shows up out of the vehicle, those two are with her. I couldn't tell you what their names are right now, but those are her co-pilots. So that even when you see her on the versus screen, when you fight against the CPU version, she's flanked by her two minions over here.
So, of these characters, last week talked a lot about how Ken is one of the best characters in this game. And so every one of the characters in this game has a specific pattern that works in their favor. So Ken's talked about last week was he sends over all red blocks, is that right?
It's his pattern is all horizontal.
That's
so
right.
what happens is the bottom row is red. Oh, no red gem. Oh, he missed the blue crash over there.
Shame.
Yeah, so he sends them all in a row. So the first row is all red, the second row is all yellow, and so on and so forth. But because the landscape of the opponent very, very rarely, and he's going to clear a lot of that, so he's still going to be alive, but very rarely is flat. As a result, Ken creates some of the most hazardous blocks. See how second row is green. But you see how like the 4-4-4 over there on columns 1, 2, and 3? Right. The fact that the landscape of your opponent is very rarely flat, it ends up making it so that his junk that he sends to you is some of the hardest to clear, because look how all the green and the reds have split up. There's a checkerboard on the left over there, and so his pattern is one of the strong, well, it's not one of the strongest, it is absolutely the strongest outside of Akuma, but Akuma obviously has I think Akuma and Devilot in this game both have the same half damage nerf because their patterns are so strong.
I mean, as somebody who'd like to play this game just because I really like puzzle games, I would sit in my room and play Tetris for hours because I just love it. I would play
Spirit animals,
exactly. So, like, coming into this and not knowing the strategies of each of the characters was detrimental. And then watching last week, I was like, oh, I've been playing wrong my entire life. Not just my adult life, but also my childhood. Great, fantastic. And something that you guys harped on a lot last week was the importance of keeping column 4 emptier than the rest. And that's because that's where all of the gems come from.
Yep. And as long as that column does not get, I mean, you could have absolutely 0 blocks on columns 1 through 3 and 5 and 6. And if you fill up column 4, you die. Yep. It's only about column 4. And then conversely, you could have the whole screen full. The entire screen full except for column 4, and if you do that, you will still be alive. It doesn't matter, even if all the blocks shoot out off the screen of all the other columns, it's only column 4 that can kill you.
And right there in that exchange, I thought that Brewmaster was done for, but he got the diamond on that, and the diamond comes every 25th move, correct?
Yep. And again, Vi mentioned this, even I didn't remember this, but like after a certain amount of time, you see the junk getting sent to you. If you clear a bunch of lines, you counter the damage and you erase that. But after a certain amount of time, that counter damage just goes away. So you guys are just sending raw junk at each other, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as a result, I mean, the reason why they got to do that is because it is so easy. I mean, not easy, but I'm just saying, if you're good at this game, the ability to survive and the counter and the patience, some of these puzzle fighter matches can last a lifetime. And so you want to have that kind of thing happen to speed the game up a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like P. Skelly here, okay, they did get a really nice diamond there, but some of their patterns are a little bit suspect. And I'd love to see just some more definitive decision making on their part. Now that could be really good if they get the opportunity for all of those
they
gems
gotta
to make
live.
their countdown.
Drop
They're not gonna live. Dag.
So one of the things that speed is key in this game, right? Because diamond pieces come every 25 pieces, and then the timer on the blocks also drain every time you drop a piece. So you notice when he dropped that red crash gem, or whichever color it was around by all those timer blocks. And then the next piece he came down, he was trying to figure out where to put it. A lot of the strong players would not care. They would just drop that crash gem and then just dump. And they would just dump them to the right. And they're not even trying to do it nicely, but you just do it so fast that the timer drains so much faster that you do get the crash gem to trigger that much earlier. And yeah, as you can see, Devilot and Akuma have almost pure checkerboard patterns, and that's what makes them so strong. But their weakness is that all of their damage is halved because they know that that's too good.
Yeah, and speaking of end quotes, the Ken end quote for that is, I have figured out the difference between us, you just suck. Which,
man,
okay, I mean, yeah, all right, I'll just leave, thanks. I do like, now that I've seen it multiple times at the character select screen, you can see what patterns you're supposed to go for. And I feel like the checkerboard pattern is really difficult.
Yeah, that's what makes those so strong, and which is why they also knew to make sure that those characters were slightly nerfed. Otherwise, it would have been too good. And so as a result, but they didn't realize, and again, back in these days, game balance was like a pipe dream. Like if you ended up with a balanced fighting game, you were kind of lucky. They didn't really understand game balance all that well. And so, 41. But see, do you see how Moon Master waited until he saw him crash that red gem and then he triggered his own string? That's one of the biggest strategies. When you glance over at your opponent's side and you see that they have this giant stack, you intentionally turtle and don't break yours until you see it, or you try to break it first and force them to counter your stack. This is why these games can last a long time. Not only that, but the players get the exact same piece sequence. And so a lot of the times, if they've managed to build a big red block, you probably have a big red block as well. And so a lot of this game can come down to turtling. And so one of the things that makes Ken so strong is that if you send over small junk, because of that staggering that you see right there on Felicia's side right there, his minimal damage can be more painful to deal with than most other characters' mini damage. And so that's what makes Ken one of the best characters. I'm sorry, the best character. Like, this is not even a vampire
it's not
saving
a debate.
Yeah, you can't win with low tier in this game. Like, Ken will beat you. He is unequivocally the best character in this game.
So you mentioned that the gems that you get are the same for both characters, and so then it randomizes what that sequence is every game, though, so that you can't learn and prepare for it.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Just checking. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the case, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, the random seed is the same for both players for each round, but the random seed changes between every round, for sure, yeah.
Got
And so you can see, so Felicia, she sends blocks like in 6 giant colored chunks, and one of them is the red chunk on the left side, and that's why you see P. Skelly is setting up for a big red block, because like I said, if Felicia tries to send minimal damage to disrupt Ken to maybe try to sneak in a kill later on, it's not going to work as well. What it's going to end up doing, oh, he needs the red break gem. He's in trouble.
He's in huge trouble. That is such a wow, that was instantaneous.
Jeez. And,
I love,
and
you
that's
had
an
everything like setting up for it too. You're like, here's all the things. Oh, never mind.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things too that to learn about that. What P. Skelly did was send a bunch of blocks, but then he had a follow up to finish the job. That happens so much in Puzzle Fighter that you send a big chunk at somebody, but then you don't have the follow up, and then the opponent basically can survive. So one of the biggest things that you could do as a mistake is send a non-killing blow to the opponent, because oftentimes if the opponent's good, they can recover very fast. Yeah. So probably when the developers were making this game, I mean, Battle Athlete, like I said, probably the best Puzzle Fighter player that we have here in the bracket right now. You know, if Ken is sending only little damage, then all he sends is red. And yeah, at that point, then he becomes a bad character. And that's probably what the developers saw as his weakness, not realizing the level of play that people would achieve eventually, given some time.
If they only knew that we'd be playing a tournament in 2022.
Right?
And this came out in 1996.
Jesus.
I know.
Oh, God.
Take it off. Go get the cane. Your AARP membership will be in the mail.
Yeah.
Doesn't mind both.
You can see right now that Moo Master did go with Devilot. So again, someone in the chat said that she takes extra damage. I thought she sent less damage. Is it that she takes extra damage or she sends less damage? I can't remember now. Someone can correct me on that one. Oh yeah, you better break some of those gems.
Oh yeah, oh that's a shame. That was such a nice little set of... Ooh, how's that gonna work?
Nice
Oh, the
break,
yellows were just all in the wrong places though. If they'd fallen a little bit differently, that could have been really good for Moo Master. And now...
And one of the interesting strategies you can have against Devilot and Akuma, if I'm not mistaken, you can purposely create staircases on your side if you can, and then the blocks do kind of weirdly balance themselves out in a weird way, but very hard to do.
Yeah, Moo Master is doing an excellent job just keeping that column 4 clear, and because of that, they're still alive, but good God, I am stressed for them right now.
And
I'm very stressed.
I have seen matches where the player has column 4 completely empty like this. And as a result, like the other person, see how P. Skelly's screen looks right now? He cannot kill Moo Master. And in fact, if he keeps trying to send small stuff to him, he will not be able to kill him ever. The small stuff will never defeat Moo Master if Moo Master plays correctly, right? And so as a result, this is what I mean by it's so important to be able to make sure you have a killing blow there. And Valle did confirm that it is less damage that they send, not take more damage. And you had mentioned about the fact that we're playing this game in 2022. Boy, I would love to see it if like one of the actual old school Puzzle Fighter devs, from Japan got to see something like this.
I would love that too. I just think it's such a cool way to honor the game. Man, Moo Master just worked so hard to clear that whole board, and P. Skelly said, "Nope, sucks to suck." That was my win quote. Do it again.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. I mean, we started this with "you gonna learn today." You are certainly going to learn today.
So
and
we're
you better
in an
learn
interesting
quickly.
situation. Skelly's screen, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff over there, but he doesn't have much built in terms of giant crash gems. As a result, despite the fact that he's going to get the string of green, you see, only send 15, which isn't quite enough yet, because honestly, Moo Master can still survive this. And so we're in a tricky situation here now. Moonmaster did make a little mistake there. He needs a green crash gem. Didn't get one, and so there we go.
Peace, Kelly. Just an art. Okay, I gotta see this win quote. Hang on, because he's got some good ones. No, we're not done yet. Just kidding.
Okay.
Oh, this doesn't last forever. Phew.
And you see when Moonmaster lost there, Devilot was all burned up and in flames. That's like the inside joke with her, because that is in her MBC1 assist. You know, like I said, the machine comes up out of the ground and blows up and is unblockable to both characters. But after the explosion, she's there in that same burnt up, flaming status.
Sure. I'm still like taking emotional damage from that previous round. I really like the way Peace Skelly plays because it's so calm and collected. And I mean, they were also in the bracket last week, correct?
Yeah.
And I feel like they went back and they practiced a whole bunch, and they were like, I will feel good. And they're just showing off how much they've learned in a week's time, which you too could learn in a week's time if you pick up the Capcom Fighting Collection for 25% off right now.
But you've got to be careful right now if Moonmaster can get some more red gems. So what's happening is, you know, now that you're forcing the Ken to do a lot of cleanup, he has to send a lot of small things. And because he has to send a lot of small things, that allowed Moonmaster to set up that giant red crash gem on the side. Now, unfortunately for Moonmaster, he is in for a world of hurt in one gem drop right now.
Oh yeah, this is so bad.
And
like,
not only that, but Skelly has the killing blow. Sorry, Moonmaster.
Like, oh my God, you're dead.
Sorry,
like,
Moonmaster. And
no.
What you saw right there was Moonmaster built a giant red gem. Huge red crash gem. Broke it all. But of course, Devilot with the half damage. It wasn't enough to kill, unfortunately.
It will not kill. We don't need to contact Sajam. Not on this fine day. That was just incredibly painful. And not as painful as it would be to your wallet if you bought the Capcom Fighting Collection up to 25% off, which is a really good deal. You're getting 10 games, and it's got rollback netcode, and it's being updated. If you weren't here at the beginning of the broadcast, we were talking about how this is getting an update on September 27th, so this is coming up here because it is the 23rd. And there's going to be hitboxes added, new gem colors for Puzzle Fighter. So here, right out, viewable hitboxes. It's also going to have a way to sort of vet your connections. It's just, for these games that for a lot of us were really developmental in our fighting game history, it's really cool to see these being updated and supplemented by the developers so that we can just keep having lots of fun playing with our friends on fantastic rollback netcode.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they continue to keep updating this, you know, little by little and keep improving things and fixing things, you know, and adding more features and stuff, I mean, that's just, it's so cool. Like, I mean, like something even, for example, one of the things they did for the Vampire Savior, a lot of the backgrounds have two variations. There's two colors for the stages, and there's like only if you fight certain bosses or some sort of requirements to get it. But in versus mode for this collection, they just put it in the random rotation for you, so you can actually just run into those backgrounds anytime. You know, if they like, can you imagine if they just added it so that, you know, Vampire Savior, you could just pick any music from any of the you could pick any music from any of the games to put in there. That would be... What is happening here? Wait, did we enter some sort of code? We just started with like 17 red, yellow, crash. What is happening here? This is the worst random seed I've ever seen in my life. This is a glitch. This has to be a glitch. What is happening here?
I have no idea why okay, we got one green, but this is the weirdest, most not... I mean, with random seeds, this is physically possible, but I don't like it.
I mean, we've got some Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead beginnings RNG going on over here. This is the wildest thing that I've ever seen. What the hell? And now
I
it's
love
all
that,
red.
Shakespeare. Why are we spirit animals? Anyway.
Wait, did you know about you know what my you know what I'm referencing with the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, right?
Yeah, the Shakespeare, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's the play, and the play starts with one of them flipping a coin and getting heads. Only.
Oh right, yeah.
Heads. Yeah,
No,
and they're discussing the statistical and it's happening again. Whoa,
Why?
this is a bug.
No, this is super
a
weird.
bug.
Yeah, are you looking it up? Because I might, because this is weird.
No, this is definitely
Somebody
a
tell me
bug
if this
in
is weird. Like, are my eyes deceiving me? Because no, this is exactly the same pattern, because they're getting the green crash gem on the same, almost exactly the same point. What did y'all do? I have questions.
Well, the best thing about this is we have this on video. Let's send this to Digital Eclipse.
Someone get Capcom on the horn. Dial them up quickly, operator. I have some issues to take up.
What is happening here?
I don't know.
What is happening?
This is absurd, and you know what? I like it. You two could own this absurdity. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna get it? Okay, there's a red crash gem. Oh my god. Jesus, Christmas trees. That's so much.
What is just happening? And like I said, back to the red and green now. The only way we're getting the blue on the screen is from the junk that's being sent. What in the world is happening?
I'm gonna need some serious explanation.
Dude, there's no way you can win. There's no way that
can't.
Ultrashawn can win there because he wasn't gonna get a crash gem. It's just the same color over and over and over. What?
And it's the same. Okay, no, now I need to see where that green crash gem comes in. Ooh, I do like that a Mike Lee story is like sort of setting things up a little differently here. Are they spelling things? An H for help? Yep, and there's the same crash gem.
Yeah, but the problem is the way that Mike Lee is setting it up, he's gonna have to start filling out the middle because there's no double red crash gems that come. Yeah, he's just saying, you know what? I'm just gonna set up the biggest red crash gem in the world at this point. Dude, Ultrashawn was the one who really didn't want to play this game last week because he was like, I'm bad at puzzle games. And then when he plays it today, he gets the most cursed setup in the entire world. This is so... What in the world is happening?
I have never seen anything like this in my life. That is a beautiful pattern, by the way. Put that on a Christmas ornament. Oh, you're dead.
Oh, you just got the red crash gem.
No. Curses. You're dead.
Life has backfired.
Okay. So.
Can we reset?
Confirm? What's going on?
Leave the game and come back, perhaps?
Did he? Is there a code that we could do? Did we just see history recorded that was a code you could put in? Because there's no way that you could get the same random seed in that order 3 times.
Yeah, the most janky random seed ever. And in fact, from a programming standpoint, I bet you that's either random seed number 0 or something, and I don't know, maybe some memory pointer got deep. Look, reset the game, guys.
Ooh, baby. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, I'll say this right now. If they go in here and it starts the same way, okay, we've got different pieces.
Yes, different pieces.
Oh no! Oh
Wait,
no!
no!
No! Stop! Quit the game! Quit the game! Leave the game! Leave the game!
Something is really
What is happening here? Well, as me and my roommate, who both of us used to be QA at a software company, have said, as soon as you put a game into the wild, you get more testing on that game in the first hour than the game ever has in its life cycle of development.
Oh yeah. And today we found out that is a thing that can happen where the random cycle goes through and you just get 2 colors. Yeah, it was McDonald's and then it was Christmas. Christmas too early. I agree. This is a Halloween season. Granted, Halloween season is every season in my house.
Yeah, and you know what? Perhaps one of the new alternate colors in the Puzzle Fighter will give us our orange-black theme. That would actually be cool.
Okay, actually, that would be amazing. And, well, you'll just never see me again. Because I'll just be playing Puzzle Fighter with Halloween colors. That was a really interesting... You know, this is something else that I mean, yes, you can get that in modern fighting games, but I'm also a big fan of speedrunning, and I enjoy watching speedrunning tournaments, and the way that you can, I don't want to say break, but functionally manipulate older games is so different than what you can do to a game now. And you have to really dig into code to manipulate games now for that. And it's stuff like this where you discover just the way that the code lines up on any given Friday is going to be something that we've never seen before.
I mean, some of my favorite speedruns are the super glitch ones. Like, there's a Super Mario World one where on the very first stage, like, if you eat things in a certain order, carry this over here, whatever, it just goes to the ending. Like,
and you're like, why?
Just teleports to the ending. I think in Final Fantasy VI, like, in one of the very earliest planes, you fight these squirrels, and for some reason, in one particular place, you only run into these squirrels called poppers, and if you fight them, I think 256 times in a row, on the 257th time, it goes to the ending.
You have defeated the squirrels. Well done. You have done what
basically.
mankind cannot. Defeat the
Hey,
squirrels.
look at this! Regular puzzle fighter, yay! Okay.
Oh my gosh, crazy. This a Mike Lee story. That's what it was. But now it seems like we're getting back to what it should be. That this Ultra Sean did manage to pull it out in the craziest setup that I've ever seen. But now with this, I'm really interested to see how things can change for Mike Lee's story now that they have regular gem setups.
So Mike Lee definitely is, I mean, you've seen it, right? He was coaching Kyobi a little bit, did well in Darkstalkers. He does have a lot of background. Oh, look at Ultra Sean with the 3-inch aim! And Ultra Sean was saying that he didn't want to play last week, and then he sets up this big old 3 crash gem sequence.
That you did fantastically, don't you even lie.
Wait, hang on, let me take a look at this, make sure that we do have the names on the correct side over here. Let's see, but if that definitely was it, because I was about to say, one of the things about Mike Lee is he is an old school player, right? So he's played a lot of these fighting games a long time ago. Yeah, okay, so I was right. Mike Lee is on the left side. So Mike Lee was the one setting up that big old sequence there. Okay, there we go. So sorry, Sean. Apologize.
Sorry, our bad. We sang your praises and they weren't yours.
Dude, Sean is like, I really hate this game, dude. He never wants to play this game again in his life, I think. Oops, Mike accidentally broke it, but actually he still didn't have access to the red over there. Yeah, he's keeping the red out right now. So you see what he's doing? He's making sure that he always has at least, he did the diamond trick too. See, that's the thing. Like I said, Mike knows all of the old school stuff. And so he knows the diamond trick. The diamond is supposed to send half damage, but there's a glitch in the game which they've preserved here because again, this is more about accuracy and historical accuracy, and either player can do it, but there is a glitch to make the diamond send the full damage, and Mike set that up to break the big giant red crash gem.
And so, it's how you rotate the diamond, correct?
Yeah, so if you can get the point, if you can create a situation, it doesn't have to be a 2 deep column, but if you can create the situation where the rotate switches the diamond 180, so it's a vertical stack, and when you hit the rotate, it rotates a full 180 because it doesn't have the room to rotate, sideways. So if it doesn't have the room to rotate sideways, it just basically flips upside down. If you can do that with a diamond piece, it will send full damage of whatever the diamond ends up on top of. And so that's the diamond trick that got discovered very quickly in the arcades.
It's such a cool thing, especially because you figure somebody had to have spent a lot of money figuring that out. A lot of money and a lot of time.
Honestly, like, I feel like it was probably just somebody being like OCD and just liking to drop the diamond in the upside down position and then flipping it at the last second through some sort of like OCD habit. And then they just noticed that it was sending way more damage than it normally should, because it definitely cropped up very early in this game's life cycle.
Well, thank goodness for people who are very meticulous about the way they play games. We are very specific, but good lord, Mike Historian is trying to end this, and now they're sending over tons of small damage too. Yeah, ooh, Ultra Sean barely squeaked out of that one alive, but he's gotta clean out column 4 if he wants to live. Okay, that's gonna help.
It's so funny too, because last week, Ultra Sean had to play Battle Athlete, who was obviously very good at this game, and now he has to fight Mike, who is obviously very good at this game.
Yes.
Sean is getting the short end of the stick here, for sure. Oh man.
Somebody said that it was the arcade manager playing after hours, just getting all that time in, getting in your reps. Oh yeah, could have been.
Look, as a person who worked at the UCLA arcade, I will deny all instances of staying later after the arcade closed to play video games.
It never happened.
And giving myself free credits.
Yeah. Da-da-da. See,
I deny all of it. Oh, he's got the red crash gem. Oh, now he needs the blue. Now he needs
really
a blue
needs the
crash
blue.
gem.
But he's got are reds. Oh, and it's speeding up. You're done. Oh
Yeah, so,
my god.
Again, Sean could have lived had he left that column 4 a little bit emptier, but he dropped the piece into column 4, and that's what kind of sealed his fate at that point in time.
Dance Escape from Crossing Fate. Wrong game. Anyway. It's getting... Yeah. Let's change and play. All the anime games. Jeez, the way Mike Lee's story is able to set things up so quickly is really impressive, and especially because, you know, you and I both being Tetris players, we're looking for like a hard drop, and there is no hard drop in this game.
Yep.
So a hard drop being where you can just let things go straight to where you put it into the position.
Yep.
This only has what we refer to in Tetris as a soft drop, where you have to like manually go brrr and get that down into there. So the way that a Mike Lee story is just able to make those decisions and then move the pieces as they're falling is really impressive.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, the HD Puzzle Fighter HD remix did add a hard drop to the game. If I remember, Battle Athlete mentioned that last week. I completely forgot about that. You know, they also changed the gem patterns a little bit to try to make the characters a little bit more balanced. You know, which they did largely succeed at. So, but again, it's interesting because, like, as much as, you know, a lot of these old games are kind of unbalanced a lot of the times and can be kind of unwieldy, it's what we remember. And, like, somehow we kind of prefer them broken.
I like my jank. Don't take away my jank. It makes me happy.
You see right there, setting up the green chain. And see how Mike set up that green chain over there on column number 1 over there? Even if you drop the red gem straight there, or if you create the chain that's just one green breaking, that still sends more pieces than you would have had you broken it with the red directly. Just by making it the second break in a chain automatically adds that much more damage to it.
Yeah, setting up chains are really important in this game, and not only am I disappointed, inside I'm laughing at you. Jesus! The developer, though, I would love to see what it says in Japanese, because I feel like, as a whole, they're far too polite to say something like that.
Right?
But geez, the English translation certainly did not hold back. I would love to bring some of these insults back.
I mean, we've all seen the CPT quotes from the Japanese players, right? I will try my best. I will try my best. I will try my best. You know? And then here in these win quotes over here, you know what? You suck.
You know the difference between us? You just suck. You're absolutely... Not only did you lose, I'm laughing at you. But on the inside.
Oh, man.
We'll never know my shame.
I wonder if you actually just, if anybody at the stream at home just heard strange random meow, and now you're hearing all this noise from my microphone. This is definitely Nathan rubbing his head all over my microphone, so I apologize for all the noise ahead of time.
Yeah, well, he's real cute, so we forgive him. But, Ultrashawn is just like, I feel like Ultrashawn is just constantly on damage control, like never on the defense, or on the offensive. They're just always trying to do defensive something, like, please just let me live. Even when he got a nice little 2-chain there, Mike Lee's story is ready to clear.
Oh, boy.
And like, look at this setup too.
Yeah, and again, see, now he's fishing for the blue crash gem, and actually, he can get it here. And so just by, even though that's a 1 break on that start, it increases the damage of the follow-up enough that it's worth it. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be a huge increase in damage, but you're still sending more than you would have had you broken that red chain just raw.
Right. And that whole thing turned into a 3-chain, and they were small, but like you said, the damage just increased pretty much exponentially, and that spell duped.
And again, one of the things that you'll see from a lot of top players is that once their screen stacks up like that, the goal at that point in time is not about and yeah, again, Ultrashawn is completely brand new to this game. As you can see, he's saying uncle here at this point in time. Look, one of the things that's key is that, remember, the diamond comes every 25 pieces. Right. You have an internal clock in your brain that knows that I haven't seen the diamond in a while. The diamond is coming up close. And so when you get the big giant stack on your screen, a lot of times you'll see a lot of the players who are beginners in the game, they'll be like, shoot, where do I put this piece? Where do I put this next piece? And what you'll see from a lot of the top players is they're just gonna shove everything to the side and go shove, drop, shove, drop, shove, drop, shove, drop, shove, drop. And then they get through the 25 cycle, the diamond piece comes and the diamond saves them. And then they can go back to planning again. So again, speed in Puzzle Fighter is one of the most important things for this game, because the faster you play, the faster you trigger the timers and the faster you cycle through your diamonds.
It's fascinating, but not as fascinating as this top 8. So we have the top 8 bracket. So we did get the first part with P. Skelly taking it over Brewmaster and a Mikey Story taking it over Ultrashawn in Super Puzzle Fighter. But we also have June, Battle Athlete, Kyobi, and Hokuto sitting there in the loser's side of this bracket, and that means we get to spin the wheel again, which makes me real happy because we're running out of games and we're getting into some of the specialty games, if you will. Yep. There's definitely some games where one might specialize.
And you know what? Just because you did it yourself earlier, I'm doing this just for you, Jaidlyn, okay? I'm changing my text right now. The Wheel of Fate is turning.
Yes!
Let's find out what game we are going to play here.
Oh boy. Oh yeah! Let's go, Red Earth! This game, this one caught me by surprise, because I felt like there were some things to be expected within this, you know, with it being such a collection that is heavily on the Darkstalker series side. Red Earth kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I really, really like it. I think it's a very fun game to play. So the cool thing about this game is in a 1v1 scenario, there are only 4 characters to pick from.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's like a magic archetype and there's a fighter archetype. So you can find there's a ninja. If you like to play ninjas, go play the ninja. I like to play the sorceress one because she has cats. And one is a black cat, and so if she's kicking on one side, it's a black cat, and she's kicking on the other side, it's a white cat, and it's super cute.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so all of her the light kick and the medium kick are cats, and it's amazing. Anyway. But in the one-player mode, it's a boss rush. So you're going through this story of, like, post-apocalyptic. Oh my god, the story is so fun. But it's like post-apocalyptic stuff. Yeah, please do.
I have to do this because speaking of,
baby.
he likes the brushes like this, and he likes the scratch. He's not doing it right now, but he'll grab my hand and actually pull the brush to his face so I scratch him. And he's not doing it right now, but that's what he does. So, because you're talking about cats, so I'm just gonna bring this cat
Everybody
out here.
loves Kitty. Yeah, Big Nathan and Big Willie, the two most famous cats in the FGC.
See, there you go.
There he goes. Look at him being so gentle. Okay.
Yeah, see
So
how he grabs my. So you see him pulling on my arm there, dude. So yeah, he's trying to make sure that I scratch his cheek. So there you go. Anyway.
So really, really fun
Vi's like, you
story.
ruined my camera angle. Stop it, James.
Yep. A fun little aside. So at Evo Finals Day on Sunday, James and the host Sumichu and I were sitting at a table sharing cat pictures for like 45 minutes. We were doing cat pictures. We were all on our in-home cameras calling cats over. So that's what we did during Evo Grand Finals.
Yep. Exactly.
Anyway, but it was real fun.
But yeah, I mean,
Axie, congratulations on adopting a one-eyed tabby. We love that.
That's
for
so
you.
cool. That's so cool. Oh, you got a one-eyed, dude. I took a picture of a one-eyed cat at my local pet store. You know, that was, you know, up for adoption, and I'm surprised I did not walk out with that cat. I took a picture of it, and everybody told me that I should have adopted it and named him Sagato.
Arigato, kitty.
Sagato. So if you haven't named your cat yet, Axie, I'll let you take that one. Sagato for the one-eyed cat.
That's so cute. Oh my god.
Ain't no kitty like the one-eyed cat. Oh my god.
So this password thing that they are hovering over, this is actually, so that's part of the one-player mode, so that when you when you die in one-player mode, they give you a password, and you can input that password so that you come back into the game at the same power level that you were when you ended. And it was one of the first games to implement this sort of password function, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, they were definitely experimenting a lot with this game too, because obviously the technology had improved. This is the first CPS3 game that Capcom ever made. So CPS3 is the hardware that runs Third Strike, the JoJo fighting game that they created, and everything previous to that had been CPS2, except for Street Fighter 2, the first three versions, which was CPS1. And so this is when they were transitioning to a brand new hardware, so they had bigger sprites, better technology to do a lot of cool things. This was really kind of, they really kind of did the Darkstalkers first before they did Street Fighter 3, because their goal was to figure out what they were capable of before they started making Street Fighter 3. And so this was kind of the result, and that's why it is such a weird, you know, archetype for a fighting game. Like you said, builds levels and stuff. And unfortunately, Battle Athlete did not enter the input correctly, because you can see on June 8-bit side it says level 32, and on Battle Athlete side it says level 1. So basically,
and that's a problem.
Yeah, Battle Athlete's not going to be doing any damage at all. You
Well,
see that
and
little.
Like, at level 32, you have an additional set of moves. So there are moves that are unlocked, not on your punch buttons, but on your kick buttons, that are unlocked at like 8, 16, like it comes on the multiples of 8, I believe. And so they're missing a whole entire set of moves.
And so you can see June is just kind of like trying to parry everything just for fun right now, because he's just like, you know what, I know that this is kind of an unfair battle, unfortunately.
It is very unfortunate. Oof, and just KO. That is the end of that.
One of the things about this game, it is not balanced. So even when you do have the 32 level 32 characters, if I'm not mistaken, Leo is just clearly the strongest character in this game. Like that, he is just the best character in this game. So,
like,
you know,
undeniably.
Yeah. So, you know, for the most part, you know, from a competitive standpoint, we would probably see mostly just a Leo versus Leo kind of thing. But let's see if we actually get the correct password here for Battle Athlete this time.
It's so funny because, like, with the story mode, Leo is the king, and he was transformed into a half lion, and now he's on a journey to go try and remove the curse, but he can't get the curse removed. And then, like, as it goes down, it's like, oh, Kenji is the leader of a ninja squad, and Tessa is a sorcerologist, a scientist and sorcerer. And then it's like Mei Ling, talented martial artist. And that's it. That's the story.
Oh man.
Okay. Great.
Thanks for they ran out of time for backstory for her.
They sure did, but this time Battle Athlete did get the code put in correctly and is now also level 32, and now you can actually see the difference in power. It's kind of incredible. And you also noticed, I think we may have briefly covered, that there are boxes being opened on the ground, and they're getting spells from that. So you can change the element of that spell, and those are the bubbles underneath their health bar. And these were actually, the boxes being opened were influences into, the mini-mix, Super Gem Fighter mini-mix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, getting the gem colors from there and being able to like pick up items and throw items at people and such. Yeah, that's probably, because Gem Fighter obviously, or Gem Puzzle Fighter, Gem Fighter Mini Mix is obviously a game that is culls from all the other history of Capcom fighting games for all their features and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure they adapted that aspect of this game into that.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, Battle Athlete is doing a great job just trying to fend off Leo, but he's just so strong. Yeah, and I'm also really trying so hard to say Leo and not Leo. I'm dying here.
Right? Oh, got stopped. Got stopped by the ghost, it looked like. And now you see Battle Athletes is trying to survive. No, the jump attack made it over.
Oh, Leo is victorious.
So there you go. So Leo, or maybe we should just call him Lion-O. I mean, seriously.
Lion-O.
Is taking, June trying to go up 2 games and says, it doesn't matter if you are at level 32, I will defeat you anyway.
I will defeat you. I like these ghosts that she's throwing out, but I need more cats. Throw more cats. Okay, there's a cannon now. Sometimes
clearly the mistake that Battle Athlete is making is not enough cats, right? So
right, obviously, and this
there's some doves or something.
Yeah, so that dove too, you can actually hold on to that and charge it. So you can let it go and it doesn't go as far across the screen, but if you charge, just like hang on and hold the button, it's sort of like a negative edge thing, and you release it after that, it goes much further.
Oh, okay. And you saw what Battle Athlete did there. Got the ghost, got him cursed on the Leo. So the ghost will just wait there and then hit you after a certain amount of time. And so you're just sitting there waiting for them to attack so you can block the ghost. And then Battle Athlete just walked up and threw him. Get you scared of the ghost, they just walk up and toss you. So nicely done.
Very, very nicely done. There's just something really fun about this game. It's charming. It's really charming, and then they have like the lion on the transition as you go into it. The art is fun. The story mode was silly but cute. And then you go through all of these different, like, countries, and one of the countries was called Uranus, and I was like, why? Why was that a choice that we made?
Wait, how the hell was that spelled?
In what we would expect in English, so I was just very I kept looking, and I was like, I kind of want to take off the lines just to make sure I'm reading correctly, but nope, I was right. Okey-dokey.
Oh man.
There's just a whole lot to unpack with this game.
Again, you could tell they were experimenting with this game largely. Like I said, this is kind of like their Darkstalkers, except this one came before the Street Fighter game because they wanted to get the practice in there. And again, the sprite work in this game so much larger and more resolution than the CPS2 games, and so they were doing a lot of practice, a lot of experimenting. So for sure, this is such a fascinating game, like in terms of system mechanics and such.
Yeah, and this I don't don't remember what system this came, what it came out for, but I feel like this really laid a lot of groundwork for, not just the modern Street Fighter with with 3 and stuff, but it really helped lay out a lot of what animations should look like in what became early 2000s fighting games.
Oh, so here we go. Curse with the ghosts. You see the ghosts? They just chill out there, and then they attack afterwards when they come in closer like that. And so June is trying to weather those ghosts, and so the ghosts are key to really kind of opening up Tessa's game. Oh, but this stuff.
That is such a huge problem. Oh, and there was the magic right on top. It did end up landing on Tessa, but
and tried to throw
so much to do.
DP. Wow. Okay, that's one of the first times that I've seen Battle Athlete go for the DP and then just zones from the screen, throws the projectiles, and there you go. Here we go. Battle Athlete.
Yeah. Battle Athlete just needed to input the code correctly. They've got so much. They've got so much magic on their side too, and wow, did get frozen a little bit there, but. I like Tessa's gameplay a lot, but I do like projectile characters that have really good mid-range neutral buttons, so she's and also cats, so she speaks to me. But I mean, now that Leo is just not able to get in and the ghosts are always there. Okay, he did dash through the ghost that time, and now he's got an opening, but it's so much more difficult.
The prediction, catching out of the air with the icicle, blocks the super from full screen, tries to counter with the zone, and now back to the zoning again.
Just back and forth, back and forth. I'm stressed for June right now.
Yeah, doing such a good job using that upward icicle. Oh no, that's going to avoid. Yeah, and get the punish on the other side. That's going to allow Battle Athlete to go up 2-1 over June 8-bit.
Man, don't you hate it when you do something you're like, this will win me the game? And then the person's just jumping over and you have to sit in that entire animation while your opponent watches you suffer because you know you're dead. What a feeling.
Blocking those EXDPs, man, and then you're like, oh, time to get crush counter.
And just sitting there suffering. And you're just like, please just kill me. Why are you waiting? End my suffering.
Now, it's interesting because, all three of these, 3 of the 4 characters here ended up in Capcom Fighting Evolution. Actually, did Tessa end up in that game? Was she in Capcom Fighting? Man, I barely remember that game because I tried to ignore it as much as possible. But the thing about it is, Mai Ling is the only character who hasn't been playable in anything. Because for sure Tessa was at least playable. Yeah, she wasn't. Tessa was playable at least in Gem Fighter, so we knew what she was, right? And then Leo and the Ninja were playable in Capcom Fighting Evolution / Capcom Fighting Jam. Mai Ling hasn't been playable in anything as far as I know except this game. So I literally know so little about this character.
Yeah, I mean, when I played her, she felt really good. So, full disclosure, I am an anime fighting game player. That's my thing. And she felt really good. Her movement was quick. Her air movement was really fluid, and I enjoyed that a lot. I did end up sticking more with Tessa just because, like I said, that's the kind of character archetype that I stick with. I play 9 the Phantom. So, come on, and cats. But, she does feel really good, and I feel like with her speed, could potentially counter Tessa pretty easily, but you've got to be fast. And that was
just get shot from full screen.
Shot through the heart.
Oh, her cats are her boots. Is that what it is? So she kicks and her boots turn into cats? Is that what it is?
They have names, too. I can't quite get them, what they are, but they're 2 cute little adorable names.
Man, okay. So that just means that I need to find myself where I can buy some cat boots. I need that.
I also need this in my life, so
if I find them, I'll let you know. Okay.
Great, cool. We'll wear them to the next major we're at.
There
you
go.
It'll
Okay.
Be perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
In the meantime, though, Battle Athlete is they're taking quite a bit of hurt now, but
I was about to say, it's like you said, the movement, like that dive kick that we see from My Ling is doing a really good job getting in on Tessa. And so now throwing out that fireball. Oh no! Battle Athlete tried to jump over. It was too late. Got chucked out of the air. And look at this, June 8-bit. Yep, coming back, finding success with My Ling. If Battle Athletes wins this, he moves on in the loser side. But if, wait, actually, yeah, this is loser side here.
Yes,
if June 8-bit can win this, he's just only going to tie it up 2-2. But so far, this character doing some work. But the ghost now, look at this. Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh, this is so much to deal with. And you've got, like, you've got ghosts, you've got ice, you've got fire, you have supers, you have a bird that you just have to deal with. I feel like it's like dealing with Faust and Nine the Phantom and everything horrible all at the same time, and guess I'll die.
Yeah,
but okay, the little dive kick there.
You definitely described classic XX Testament with birds and oh no, Ghost was Zappa. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Ghost
yeah,
was
Ghost
Zappa,
was Zappa.
not Testament.
But Battle Athlete is gonna take it with the Tessa. Which I think when I was reading through everything, Tessa was, I mean, not the worst character. I believe Kenji is supposed to be the worst character in the game.
Okay.
But I enjoyed Kenji. He's got a really cool like chain that he throws out, but he does operate a little bit more slowly than the rest of the cast. Kenji is trash tier. Great, that's what I heard. So that's who I picked first. The very first time I played, I was like, "Oh, this seems good," and everyone was like, "No, he's garbage. Pick somebody else." So Tessa is not the best character. I mean, Leo is by far, but you know, this is a mystery tournament. You may not have ever had your hands.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this is the first time that Red Earth has ever been on console. Is with this collection.
Yes. Red Earth. I mean, for the most part, this is probably the first time most people have ever heard of this game is on this Capcom Fighting Collection. And for me, like I said, I've never played this game because back when it was an arcade game, I never saw it in America. I never saw this game. And like I said, I went to UCLA and we were getting a lot of the games. And we had the JoJo fighting game. We had Bloody Roar when it was called Beasterizer.
That's so cool.
When it first came out, you know, we had a lot of very obscure games. We had Fighting Vipers, etc. We never got this game. We literally never got this game. I had only heard about it through magazines and stuff like that, and I always wanted to try it. And now here's my opportunity. I mean, I've been going crazy playing some Street Fighter V online, but once we get past September, I will definitely be busting out the Capcom Fighting Collection and playing some Warzard.
Warzard, yeah, I wrote down the katakana just because I loved the way it looked. I was like, this is so neat. But yeah, this is called Warzard in Japan, not Red Earth.
That's right. Yeah. I'm supposed to keep calling it Red Earth. That is what I was told by the Capcoms. It's Red Earth, but you know, for me, like I always remember it as Warzord for some strange reason.
Yeah, well, contextually, like with the story, it actually makes more sense. Because of what is going on in that story, which you should play the story, chat, if you haven't, because it's weirdly fascinating.
For sure, when I play this, I'm gonna experience it the right way, start at level 1 and go through the story and build all the way up.
So now we have Hokuto, who did really well last week, and Kyobi fighting it out in the loser side. Imagine doing really well last week and then being in the loser side of a mystery tournament.
Yeah. Well, Kyobi, you know, he's a puzzle game player. Like he likes Puyo Puyo is his favorite puzzle game. He also was a fan of Tetris. We've definitely had lots of Tetris conversations as well. So, you know, he isn't necessarily the strongest of fighting game players. I mean, he called Sasquatch and Night Warriors his 1 hour Sasquatch. So, you know, but like I said, Hokuto, one of the best ST players in North America from Mexico. So, yeah, I mean, even if Hokuto has never played this game before, a lot of the fundamentals are going to be really, really strong for Hokuto.
Yeah, so in chat, somebody asked, why is Kyobi level 1? Because you have to input a password to get your character past level 1. So if you're level 1, you don't have as many moves as you should. So by inputting your password correctly, you can be level 32. So now, this time, we're input correctly, we're at level 32.
Yeah, so the damage is going to be a little fair, and then of course, like you said, Leo has access to all of his moves now. But I don't think Hokuto cares. Whoa, he did a stun combo? What the heck? Dude, Hokuto has definitely played this game several times. Instant air dash pressure? What in the world? Okay.
Yeah, this, look at the movement too, just dash, 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 flame kick, dash, dash, flame kick. What do you do? I mean, I appreciate that Kyobi picked the strongest character in the game, but you can pick the strongest character in the game and still lose.
Oh man, I love seeing this. I mean, we get to see, you know, kind of what this game looks like when a player, you know, has that history and has the strategies for the character. And even Battle Athlete saying that apparently he knows that. Well, I don't know if he's just saying it because he's seeing what we're seeing, but he says that Hokuto is a monster in Red Earth. And yeah, Weebs in the chat says, Hokuto been waiting for this moment.
He's been sitting, I'm ready for the wheel. The wheel of fate is mine. And yeah, it is. It surely is. Wow, just rolled through as well. That was so cool.
Cross-up!
Yeah, we got cross-ups in this video, friendo.
Is that a guaranteed stun combo? Or is that super just stun you? Because that's both times I've seen Hokuto land that combo, it's led into a stun and a free combo afterwards. So Hokuto is coming in here. He's not playing any games with this character.
No, he's only playing one game and he's playing to win. Sheesh.
So this is classic Street Fighter 2 to Hyper Fighting days where stuns were really easy to do.
I noticed that, like, stuns are so difficult to get, like, in modern fighting. Well, even like just watching Street Fighter 5 now, the amount of effort that you have to go through to get a stun. Playing Hyper Street Fighter 2 is like 2 hits. It's like, okay, guess I'll die.
Yep. If you play like Hyper Fighting Ryu, if you walk into 2 fireballs, you're stunned. That's it. That's it.
I mean, I guess it's what it would be like in real life if I was set on fire twice. But
if you saw someone throw fire from their hands, you'd be like,
I mean, I would just, you know, be stunned because I wouldn't know what was going on. Okay, Hokuto legitimately is good at this game. The setups, so there. Oh, and now there's a stun. Oh, they have cute rubber duckies.
Again, that same combo leading to a stun, and then getting the super, and then dashing up and throwing right away. Man, Hokuto is, yeah, Kyobi. I can see Kyobi at home right now, just being like, come on, man, come on,
bro. So a Mikely story is really interesting. So if you get birds, it's a real stun. If you get stars, it's a 50-50 that it's a fake or a real. So that's a cool piece of information.
Weird.
I love that you guys know this.
I mean, one of my favorites was in Clay Fighter on the Super Nintendo. Taffy actually had a move that you could input that would put him into a fake stun.
Wow. That's
so you could just like walk around, get hit, do the special move, look like you're stunned, the guy would come after you, and then basically you could destroy them for coming after you.
That's crazy.
Oh,
and just like that, Hokuto with the 3-0, he said, done, done, done. Could we move on, please? I would like to spin the wheel again. Which we will. We will shortly. After we showcase the amazing sale that's going on right now for a limited time on PlayStation, Switch, and Steam. So the Capcom Fighting Collection, 7 of the games that we're playing here today, and 3 more on top of that are up to 25% off. And then, of course, the entire Capcom Fighting bundle is up to 35% off.
Yeah, and of course the Capcom Fighting Collection and the 30th anniversary, they both come with a lot of cool historical content in there as well, artwork and such. And yeah, the Capcom Fighting Collection, in particular, you know, the main draw of this collection is the collection of all the 5 Darkstalkers game. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of other games, those are big draws too. I'm speaking for myself personally as like one of the craziest Darkstalker fans like in the world. Even, you know, it's just like, again, that series, like that is one of those series. Like, so back in the old days, the way that like on Saturn games, all the background music were just musical tracks on the CD itself. So you could just put the CD like into the CD player and play the music and stuff. And I actually like would go and you could do this stuff a long time ago. Yeah, you could actually go and rip the music out of like the PlayStation files and stuff. So I definitely made a CD with all of the Darkstalkers music. But the cool thing about it is they continue to support this game as well. As you see over here, they are adding new features to the Capcom Fighting Collection. Number one here, as you can see, in training mode, you can turn on viewable hitboxes.
Like actual hitboxes, because so many of these games were just, you know, either only in the arcade or arcade ports, so there weren't even training modes. And in addition to the fact that every single one of these has a training mode, there's viewable hitboxes. There's also a bunch of new color options for Super Puzzle Fighter. So like you see the really nice like soft ones there. If you're like me and you like to play a whole lot, and so like after a while your eyes hurt, it feels really nice to turn off some of those like brighter colors so that you can play for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some of the colors that you could choose there too. I know some people in the chat were mentioning this, but will help colorblind players as well by not focusing as much on the red and green. But again, I'll let colorblind people speak to that.
Right.
But you can see here also when you do go online, you can see the network connection, the color of the number by the name, by the standby that you can see highlighted in the white box over here. You get the information on network connection quality, and then you can also change the input delay settings. So again, rollback netcode is exactly delay-based netcode if you change the settings for it. And you know, depending on how bad the connection could be, sometimes you want it more to be closer to delay-based netcode, but if you have a great connection, you want it to be rollback, because rollback gives you the best experience. And so by being able to change the input delay setting here, like manually on the actual lobby, seeing the network connection is actually super nice.
It is, and I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on about how important rollback netcode is, but we have no time because we must spin the wheel. And there's some really good, I mean, they're all really good games, but these are
this is a crazy final three here. Wheel of Capcomality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the game that we will learn. Oh my God, wait, I thought it made it to the other side. Oh, okay, Vampire Savior, here we go.
Hey.
So we saw the exhibition earlier on between Ailerus and Servo, first to 5. That lasted about a total of like 6 minutes, I think it was. So
maybe 6 minutes. Yeah, this one goes real fast. Oh, everyone was like, no, it wasn't supposed to be that. Look, the wheel does not lie. It said, this is what we're doing. So we're gonna play Vampire Savior for this one. So this is really cool. So way earlier in the bracket, we had Night Warrior, so it was the timeline is Darkstalkers, Night Warrior, Vampire Survivor, or I'm sorry,
Savior.
That's a Savior. That's a different game. And so this is also known as Darkstalkers 3.
Yeah, so basically it's Vampire, Vampire Hunter, and Vampire Savior. The naming scheme in Japan makes a lot more sense. But
yes, it does. It does.
In America,
I was
they created the name, so Vampire, the species were called Darkstalkers. That's what they changed the name to. Then the second game was about Donovan, who is a vampire hunter, but they called it Night Warriors in America for no reason. They finally kind of consolidated the name in America with Vampire Savior, but even then in America, Vampire Savior had like all these subtitles. Like one of them was Jetta's Damnation that I always make fun of. But it was like Vampire Savior. Yeah, and again, Vampire Hunter, Vampire Savior, aka Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, and Vampire Savior. And then, of course, the last two games on here are Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2. And again, they're both extensions of Vampire Savior, but Vampire Hunter 2 brings back all of the Vampire Hunter characters. Vampire Savior 2 stays with the Vampire Savior cast. Change some of the way the Dark Forces work, etc., etc. Like I said, there's a really interesting story on why those games were created in the first place, but they are kind of like multi-universe side stories, like what ifs. They're not part of like the canonical timeline of the games that you play. In terms of official Darkstalkers games, there's only the main three.
Okay, and so during that, P. Skelly is already down 1.
Yep. Oh wait, it's Battle Athlete and Moo Master. Wait.
Oh, it's Battle Athlete and Moo Master. Oh, okay. So, well, Battle Athlete is still down 1.
Yeah.
But we have a
Production
Felicia mirror match, and I love it. I love the colors in this game. They're so good. Look, I feel like, again, we're just gonna go on about how good the design in this game is, but this design is so good.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just have to say it. This is my two cats, right? I've got a black cat and a white cat. So I've got Jasmine and Nathan going up against each other right now. So, I mean, this is not usually how it goes. Jasmine tends to not like to fight at all and just runs away all the time. So, you know.
She's so pretty.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Well.
Oh, she jumped. Okay. I think Battle Athlete actually accidentally triggered the Easter egg. So you can, if Felicia jumps on top of the other character and neither character moves afterwards, Felicia lands on their head and will stand on their head. And as long as neither character touches the controller, she just sits there on top of their head forever while the guy whose head is being stand on does their lost timeout win pose. Or their tied win pose or something like that. And so what you actually saw was Battle Athlete jumped on Moo Master, got onto the head, and then jumped immediately off because Felicia can jump off the head at that point.
This game is crazy, and I love it. And I can see too.
If you also want, make sure if you mess with Felicia in training mode, walk up to the opponent, hold forward, and hit the taunt button, because she has a taunt button where she just basically grabs you and hugs you for a second and then jumps off. So.
Oh, that's so cute and kind of mean. I like it. Yeah, I'm watching the recoverable health because that was something that we discussed earlier, because this is the game that introduced that concept. And watching it flash too, like I can see if you had the refresh rate being like that every other, being like, do I have health? Do I not have health? It's mystery. We'll find out.
And that's what happened a lot of times when we were watching the videos. You couldn't see anybody's white health, and it was really annoying.
Like, I can only imagine how irritating it would be to try and learn that.
Yeah. And if you didn't know, if you had no idea, there's no way. You would, every once in a while, it would either be not there or just pure white. Like, just depending on what alternate frame it happens to get hit on. And so it would just keep changing between pure white and then just gone. And so, like, if you didn't know what was happening and watching those old videos, you would just be so confused.
I'd be so confused now, and I still know what's going on. Wow, so this is much more back and forth, and probably the longest match that we've seen thus far of Vampire Savior. Yeah.
Again, the thing about this game is, I mean, the way that this game works, nicely done by Moo Master, getting the please help me to connect and taking that game. But, you know, there's that philosophy out there that you see a lot from people these days, like, oh, this game is unbalanced. You know what? In the next patch, don't nerf anyone, buff everybody, right? Yeah. There's that kind of mentality out there. That is this game, except it never got a patch. It just came out and everybody's been buffed. Because when you play this game at the highest level, the offense in this game is just absolutely insane. So one of the things that Battle Athlete is not necessarily doing with QB right now is that her air dash hones in on the opponent. So when you
Interesting.
jump and air dash, like if you're using Magneto in Marvel game, you have to choose the air dash diagonally down or straight or whatever. No, QB just figures out where the opponent is and dashes in that direction. And so if they're on the ground, you get instant overheads. If you're in the air, then she gets the air to airs and such. And so she is a rush down machine.
Can I ask a really important question? Why does the train have teeth?
It's the Phantom Train.
Okay, sure, I'll take it.
Actually, it's the Iron Horse Iron Terror is what this stage is called. And what's interesting is that this stage never came up in versus mode. This stage, and this is the alternate color of it, by the way, but this stage would never come up in training in versus, in arcade, at home, wherever. It was only in the arcade in certain conditions that it would ever show up, until it came out on home versions and you could manually select stages and stuff. And so there's a lot of people that love this stage because it was one of the harder stages to find.
Man, there's so much lore packed into this. And the QB, so as somebody who wasn't familiar, just die. As somebody who wasn't familiar with the cast in depth, I picked up QB and I was like, this character is really lackluster. And then I watched her being played and I was like, oh god, she's good. She's real good.
Yeah, the best thing is she has, you've probably seen the move before where she kind of lunges at you, and when it's her ES lunge, and if she grabs you, she plants an egg inside you, she dies, and you turn into this giant egg. And then the egg cracks and a new QB jumps out and fights from there. Like, that's one of her moves, and it's like one of the greatest like fighting game moves ever created.
That's brilliant, but I have questions for the person who designed that. Like, I just need to know what kind of trauma they were working through in their lives when they decided that that was gonna be a thing.
Oh man, yeah. Like, again, there's just so much like subtlety in the animations, and a lot of it happens so quickly it's hard to see as well. Like Bishamon has the ability to basically stab you with his sword, leave the sword in you. The ghosts that he has possesses you and makes you commit Sudoku. Right? Not Sudoku, seppuku, basically. That's the joke. Commit Sudoku. Yeah. Sudoku is the joke. I have committed Sudoku. But you basically causes you to kill yourself. And everybody has a unique, doesn't exist anywhere else animation of them killing themselves. Like, a lot of them will stab themselves in the stomach and like rip the sword out. Raptor doesn't have a stomach, so he puts the sword into his ribcage and slices up, and he splits himself in half and stuff. And these animations only exist for that one move.
That's
literally
ridiculous.
For that one move.
They put in so much effort.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to respect it, especially thinking about how this had to have been animated and programmed at the time. The amount of work that went into that, man. Just respect. All the respect.
Ultra Sean now has to fight Hokuto in Vampire Savior. Ultra Sean, I'm just gonna call, is like the most unfortunate player in this entire tournament for the past 2 weeks. Every game that he's run into, I feel like has been like the expert of the game. And then he had to run into, and then he had to do Puzzle Fighter twice.
Yeah, he doesn't do Puzzle Fighter 2 times. But, I mean, to Sean's credit, he's doing pretty well. I mean, they're 1 for 1 right now. I mean, Hokuto doing an excellent job just, like, with the ridiculous pressure, but Sean's got a throw in there.
Yep, there we go. Sitting on a lot of meters. Somebody has asked, you can see 6 meters on Ultra Sean's side over there. Hasn't been spending a lot of the meter. Messed up the pursuit. Accidentally did down up, so we came out with the flash kick instead. But people have asked me, what's the maximum number of meters you can build in this game? And the answer is 99. So if you just feel like it, yeah, you go in training mode, you can just build up to 99 meters if you really want to.
So, well,
and
Sean.
Look at this. Okay, never mind. Let's go, Sean. Let's go.
Yeah.
Can he eliminate last week's champion? Let's go.
That's the question. I really like Bane as a character. It's such a cool, like the movement scheme is really neat, and just there's a lot of eerie animation that I like a lot with it.
That idle pose, that's one of the things that Richmond Lee talks about. Like, he points out Talbane's idle pose, how he just, like, you see the growling of the mouth and stuff. And yeah, it's just, again, just ask me and I'll link you the article at some point in time.
Yeah,
but it's such a good article.
I would love to read it because I'm fascinated by stuff like that. I'm a behind the scenes kind of person, so I'm all about that.
Here comes Hokuto.
Oh, but Sean got out of the corner, which is really great for them. And then the nice high-low. They definitely have some good fundamentals and some good ideas. It's just Hokuto's really good at this game.
Yeah, and again, Sasquatch is really strong. Now, the one thing that Hokuto hasn't been doing really well. So again, both of these characters have a similar thing. So it's basically Sasquatch greater than Talbane, greater than Felicia in terms of being able to dash. And when you dash, it becomes an instant overhead. I mentioned about Felicia before. But if you hit back on the controller, you can kind of cancel your dash so you fall faster, but you can still attack. So if you dash and then hit back in a button, you fall fast, attack, and you can combo after that dash attack and get some huge damage. Sasquatch is the easiest one to time that on. And that's what makes Sasquatch so scary, is he can do that dash attack and get the combo. Talbane can do it if you're really strong, and Felicia is the hardest one to do it. It's easiest if you just dash in a meaty situation and hit it really meaty to be able to combo off of it. But that is what makes Sasquatch so strong, is you just dash, hit back button, dash, hit back button, and you just basically, he becomes this giant rush down, like literally snowball avalanche kind of thing. And like, I can see Hokuto is trying it, but he's not quite proficient at it just yet, so.
No, and even in that last round, Ultrashon was really close to actually taking Hokuto out, so it would have been a 2-0 situation. Hokuto just, unfortunately, Ultrashon did not do, he backdashed and got caught by the icicles. It was just not what he thought Hokuto was going to put out. But really, Ultrashon, whereas we thought that Hokuto would kind of run away with this, he's doing a great job putting up a fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at this. It's still pretty even right now, although Hokuto trying to make this comeback, but he keeps messing up the pursuit. So what's happening right there is that Ultrashon is trying to go for the pursuit. Now, down up was the input of it, I think, in for Lord Raptor in the original Darkstalkers, but since Night Warriors in this game, all you have to do is hold up and press a button. The flash kick is no charge. So down, up, and button gets you the flash kick. So what happens is, if you want to do the pursuit with Talbane, don't hold down on the controller beforehand and just hold up and mash the buttons. But since Ultrashon is holding down and then hitting up and the buttons, he's coming out with the flash kick motion instead of the pursuit.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's just when you understand the button presses and then what the button presses can become, it makes a whole lot more sense when you're like, why is this person doing this one particular move when it's not working all the time? It's, well, because that's not really what they're intending.
Right.
Not my intention. Well, clean up your button inputs.
Is it time to get a cheat box? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not even gonna go in there. Not even gonna start on that.
That's for another bit. Not for today.
Yeah,
today we're playing Visa.
Oh man. Yeah, here we go. Ultrashon, look at this, getting the pressure, backing off. Nice, and I like that patience there, because, you know, Hokuto had been using the ES Ice Castle a lot. And there you go, you see again, Ultrashon with that execution error on that flash kick again, because he's holding down before he's trying to do the pursuit. There you go. Just hold up after the throw, hold up and mash. And even if you start your pre-jump frames, it'll cancel into the pursuit. So you don't ever have to worry about accidentally jumping.
Wow, it seems like every time Ultrashon takes an inch, Hokuto turns around and just takes a mile.
Yeah.
The damage output is so much more significant on Sasquatch.
And you know, I see June and Moomaster in the chat saying, you know, it was a lot of fun competing. And, you know, again, this is not me trying to be the old man versus the new stuff, but we're just, you know, very different times. But old fighting games like this were designed in a way that they were meant to be a lot more like approachable and you know, easier to just kind of mess around with like this and enjoy. And you know, modern fighting games these days are definitely a lot more research heavy. You got to know frame data and stuff. Like frame data doesn't matter in Vampire Savior. I can ask all the top Vampire Savior players in the world what the frame data is for this game, and none of them will be able to tell you a single frame data. And that's the thing, right? These old games are so pick up and play friendly because they were designed for an arcade environment. Designing a game for frame data and training mode these days makes total sense because we have those kind of things. But again, pick up and play is enjoyment factor is so high in these old games, which is why you can come in a tournament like this, play these games, and just have an absolute blast. So again, if you guys want to join in on the fun, man, it's Capcom Fighting Collection, and in that bundle, the 30th anniversary collection for all the Street Fighter games is there too. And I'm telling you right now, Capcom, I'm telling you right now, Capcom, next one, make the 3D collection with all of the Power Stone, with Star Gladiators, with all the EX games. I think that would be sick. Like, do the 3D bundle. The Rival Schools games. Rival School games. Please. Please, 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 please.
Just take my money now. Do you have pre-orders? Because I will give you my money. But we are down.
That would be... Dude, can you imagine? Oh man, I don't know how much you know about Power Stone. The Power Stone is like a 3D view, kind of like think about a kind of like a concept of Smash Brothers with items, except you're playing kind of like on that 3D view, kind of like a diagonal view. So you run around everywhere. You can interact with all of the environment, like pick up items, break backgrounds and stuff. And it's up to 4 players for Power Stone 2. And it's just chaos. And if you can create that with rollback netcode on the next Capcom Fighting Collection so that you guys can just sit there and just like go nuts. I mean, that and same kind of concept too. Like, there's the reason why it's called Power Stone is you can pick up Power Stones and you beat them out of each other, and whoever gets like the first person to get all 3 of them gets to do their supers and stuff like that. It's such a fun party game, and
so
it is.
Sounds like they took the Gem Fighter, which is what we're on now, where you beat the gems out of people to power up your moves. Like,
that's true. Yeah,
like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't play it all that much, but it is one of those games, and they had a collection on the PSP, and I've always kind of regretted not grabbing that collection on the PSP. But like, it's just one of those games that the fans of Power Stone are like die hard. Like, they are like, dude, I will fight for Power Stone for life, because it is that kind of casual, fun enjoyment factor, and it is. I mean, we were just talking about pick up and play. You want to talk about pick up and play? Like, Power Stone is all there, dude. It is all there, and it is so much. It is a great party game. Great party game.
I think that's so awesome, and I like what you were saying about the pick up and play aspect, because that was really important, especially in like the early development of fighting games, because if they weren't approachable, they wouldn't have grown. And it's funny that we have a lot of discourse now revolving around some of the games that are coming out, how much more approachable they are. Yeah. And personally, I think it's great because it's allowing not only older generations to get back into the newer games, but new generations to be exposed to an incredibly rich fighting game history without having to sit down and be like, okay, let me go study for the LSAT or something.
I mean, look, it was inevitable that I was going to mention this on the stream, but what Street Fighter 6 is doing with that World Tour mode, like, I am just over the roof on that. Like, even if it's not necessarily for me, which I'm still going to enjoy the hell out of that, right? Because I want to explore Metro City and find all the references. But even still, like, what it's going to be able to do to bring new people into the game is going to be so important, and I'm so here for it right now.
Oh, same.
And yeah.
I just think it's great. I'm all about the longevity and the creativity and bringing people in and expanding, just expanding our base, because without that the FGC will not continue to be a community. It will dwindle, it will die, we will become an extinct species.
And again, you know, we've seen this from multiple games now. Mike definitely is very aware of, you know, the things that are strong in these games and such. So he's gone with the Chun-Li. He's trying to do the Chun-Li link. She is considered the strongest character in the game because she's the only character who can link out of part of her costume combo. So she can do attack, attack, gunshot, and then link attack, attack, attack again. So she can kind of confirm, but that also means on block, she's kind of plus as well. So that makes her really, really strong in that game. And Mike is trying to take advantage of that, but hasn't been able to land it just yet. And again, for those who are very unfamiliar with the game, 2 attack buttons, punch and kick. Those are the only 2. Watch out. Okay, kick. Otherwise, the traffic, all the bikes are going to come and try to run over Ryu because she turns into a traffic cop, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh, see, there it was. That's the link right there. That's the link.
It almost looks like Jill's costume from the RE series. It
is.
Similar.
It is. She's turning into Jill Valentine. Absolutely.
Great, cool. Glad we got that one.
That's absolutely what that is.
I was like, it looks like Jill Valentine. What's going on?
And what's interesting about this game is that if you start your attack on the ground with a punch button, then from there you can perform all of your costume combos, which is the parody of custom combos, which were available in Alpha 2. And so from there, from the punch start, all combinations of punch and kick afterwards, so punch, 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 kick, 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 punch, kick, punch, etc., create a different path. And each one of those leads to different situations. So some of them will be frame traps between the second and third. Some of them will lead to an unblockable. Some of them will lead to a throw at the end. Some of them are designed to be frame traps. So if you try to mash your way out of it, you get hit. And so it becomes a case of like memorizing the costumes essentially and knowing which one it's leading to. And that's kind of the crux behind the way that this game plays.
It's so fun too. Like the development of this game was like, we have chibis left over from Super Puzzle Fighter. You want to make a game out of them? And that's kind of what happened. It's supposed to be like a parallel universe where all of this comes together. And what's really interesting to me in like the HUD aspect of this, where it's showing you what moves are available and what's powered up on the bottom, is this something that we see now in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus? Like we have that. I mean, yes, they're the shortcut inputs, but like that's something that's on screen now that you get to see. That you as an opponent get to be like, I know what the person I'm playing against has in their arsenal.
Yep. And again, so basically what you're trying to do is pick up the gems that match the color, because that powers up those special moves. So for example, we saw last week one player was using Felicia, and the Sand Splash at level 1 only barely goes like a third of the screen and is tiny, but once it gets to level 3, it goes almost full screen and hits like 5 times basically. So it's not a cooldown weaves, it's that you're powering them up by collecting the gems. And that's the joke with Dan, because Dan, his worst move is his fireball, and even at level 3 the fireball is slow and goes nowhere, and when he beats up on the opponent he only knocks out red gems. Guess what his red special move is? The fireball. So basically he only can power up his crappy special move.
I mean, sometimes it's like that. This stage, there's a tiny Sasquatch.
Look at Vega, he's skiing with his claws.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then Bison coming by on the sled every once in a while.
There he goes.
Look at Bison.
He's having the best time.
He's going up the hill in that direction, and then once he gets up the hill, he comes back down.
I mean, the laws of physics need not apply. Oh, that was unfortunate. Like, he had the powered up fireball, and a Mikey story was already in the air and was just like, punch, too bad. I love the costume. I'm sorry, him going in the back is killing me.
And then, of course, they paired up Bishiman and Saddam in the background over there, because they're both the samurai armor guys.
Oh my god, they thought. There he goes. Oh, they really thought of everything.
Oh, finally got the combo, and here we go. Gonna get run over by not only the bicycles, but the exact sprites of the bicycles from Alpha 2, which is why they look like they don't fit in the back. They don't fit in the game at all, because it's literally the exact same sprites from Alpha 2.
I mean, a lot of this game was just recycling things that were already around. It's like, were you using this? No? Okay, we're gonna take this for our game. Alright, go for it. That's fine. And they did. And I mean, it looks really cool, and there's definitely some subtlety and some intricacies to the game. But again, it's one of those things that you can just pick up and hit some buttons and you're gonna have a good time playing it. Because like you said, it's only 2 buttons. You're gonna be alright.
Yeah, I mean, there is one more button. It's like the special button that you can use it to create like unblockable attacks eventually and stuff like that. And I mean, probably the biggest suspense of all night. What game are we gonna play for this one? What game are we playing for this round? It's Hyper Street Fighter 2.
You could have fooled me. I had no idea. None at all. Okay, so now I get to tell my story. Been waiting all night for this.
Okay.
So I was playing this on Tuesday on my stream, and just, you know, really, like I said, I was diving into the games, trying to explore a lot more about them. And I didn't know who to pick in this game. So somebody was telling me, to pick Dictator. So I was trying to move over to Dictator. And in some weird setup of I mashed a lot of buttons, I got the secret character. I got Akuma. I have no idea how I did it. I could never like do it on purpose again in my life, but I mashed a bunch of buttons and I was like, it said, okay, game start. And I was like, why? What did I do? I don't understand. And so then I had him and everyone was like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I clipped it. So it's out there on the internet with me just going like,
Akuma was originally hidden in Super Turbo. He reused everybody's voices, so you couldn't even find him in the voice test. So when he wins, it goes, that's actually T-Hawk's 360. When he does spin kick, he goes, hoorah! And that's Zangief's lariat and stuff like that.
Genius.
They actually hid all of that in there. The way to unlock Akuma is you leave the cursor on Ryu for about 3 seconds, then you go to T-Hawk for about 3 seconds, then you go to Guile for 3 seconds, then you go to Cammy for 3 seconds, go back to Ryu for 3 seconds, hit start, hold start, and mash all 3 punches. Now, in Hyper Street Fighter 2, they changed it so all you have to do is hit start and 3 punches. So I think that's what you did. You hit start, held start, and hit 3 punches at some point in time, and it just triggered and turned into Akuma.
Well, it was a journey that I went on.
And you picked the best character, clearly, because Akuma is broken.
Yeah, everyone was like, just Fireball, and I got through like the furthest I've ever gotten in this game. And I was like, okay, great, cool. But
dude,
no secret characters here.
So Hokuto, like I said, one of the best claw players in Super Turbo and NA. So this is going to be a lot of problems, especially because Moo Master picked Zangief. However, this is World Warrior Zangief here. So if he does land one SPD, you know, outside of Street Fighter V, the history of Zangief is you SPD and you launch a full screen away and you got to get in again. Well, not in this game. Zangief just ends up right next to you, and so you can just SPD somebody to death, basically. And
that sounds delightful.
However, Claw destroys Zangief in Super Turbo, and it's not going to be any different over here. Hokuto using the strategy of going off the wall, hugging the wall as much as he can, moving slightly forward so that when he hits the button, Vega stabs wide, like he stabs like half a screen worth of width. And so if you do that, you can just, if you make it so that you barely touch Zangief, there's pretty much nothing Zangief can do to that claw attack. And it's a pretty bad fight.
it's this particular iteration of Street Fighter is so interesting because you can pick, like, you can decide which version of the characters that you want to have, and like just pit them against each other. And this game is wacky. Like, to me, Street Fighter now is such a not slow-paced game, but it definitely has a pace to it, and it's very deliberate. And this is just crazy pants.
Yeah. Oh, see, watch. Nowhere. He's right there.
Oh, SPD emergency. Good God. Why?
Let's
Why
go.
is this a thing?
Let's go. And they changed it right away in Champion Edition. Oh yeah, by the way, Zangief has no flipping animation when he gets reset out of the air. So it looks like he gets hard knockdown when it's actually just a regular air recovery. So we saw that. Moo Master got hit out of the air, and I think he thought he was hitting the ground because he landed on his feet and was standing there. And then he just got stabbed because I don't think he realized he was landing on his feet. Now, 3 characters had that problem in Street Fighter 2. Zangief, Dhalsim, and Chun-Li. They were the only characters that did not have that flipping animation. When they added that flipping animation to the 3 characters in Champion Edition, they accidentally added a hurt box to Dhalsim during his flip animation. So Dhalsim is actually the first character in fighting game history who could be juggled in the air in Champion Edition.
I'm both horrified at that information, but also at Claw's existence in this game. Because when he does that huge arm out thing, my dude becomes some kind of bald eagle with that wingspan.
Yeah.
Just takes him out.
Now, again, even in Super Turbo, Vega is considered the best character in the game. Like, it's him and Dhalsim are tied, basically, but most people will say Vega's better just because he's so much easier to... Oh, Vega's super.
Wow.
Grabbed the uppercut from behind. Hyper Fighting Turbo Sagat is what Moo Master picked there. He also has a glitch that if he ever does a reversal tiger uppercut, it never triggers the block animation, and so it becomes unblockable. So if you're right next to Sagat and he does a reversal tiger uppercut, you can't block it, you just get hit. So
I mean, at this point, I'm getting hit anyway, so let's just expedite the process.
And then Here we go. Capcom Fighting Collection. This is what we're playing right now. As you can see, 10 games available, Hyper Street Fighter 2 being one of them. So kind of in Hyper Street Fighter 2, you kind of get pseudo access to all 5 of the original Street Fighter 2s in one crazy package. But if you want the actual Street Fighter 2s, glitches and all these glitches that I'm talking about, they work in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That is part of that Capcom Fighting bundle there, 35% off. So you get 30th Anniversary Capcom Fighting Collection, as well as the arcade number 2, Three Wonders. Three Wonders, one of the characters in that game shows up as an assist in Marvel vs. Capcom. But this 35% off, under $40, good deal. So yeah, consider it if you don't have any of those games.
And our wheel has been repopulated. So we've run through the entire wheel. We don't get the what's it gonna be because we know. But we're back to it. We're gonna spin again and see what we get for the last couple rounds of this tournament. And it is Night Warriors!
Night Warriors!
Yeah!
And honestly, Moo Master, you got your Zangief loot, so, you know, good job on that World Warrior Zangief. Let's go.
Yeah. You got to do the thing.
Julie, do the thing.
I was thinking back about the cover of the 2 collections that are on sale right now. And, I mean, I'm sure the art for those is available in the museum, but I would love to have those as posters just because they're so beautifully done. Oh, hey, Bubba. Uh-oh, I'm cat distracted. Look at you, Bubba.
What do you think I am right now?
Right, I know. Well, I also have 2 cats, but they're really afraid of the curtain that I have over here. So they're like, I don't know about this. I stream in a closet, so it's a very big closet, to be fair. But we replaced the door.
That's the St. Cola tech.
It is a St. Cola tech. Except I'm not with clothes. To be fair. No, but we replaced the door with a soundproof curtain, and so they're just like not used to it. It's really heavy, so they're like, I don't like it.
Fair enough.
It is a St. Cola tech, so when we stream together, it is the power of the closet.
Nice.
Great.
Oh, stop it, Nathan. You are now, again, if you hear, that's him bumping his head on the microphone, and that's what he always does, like to scratch his head on the microphone.
It's such a great place to be, Valle. We're just gonna have to have like an all-cat stream. Be like, today is all cats all the time. And I mean, thank God there's cats in this cast, because then we can make excellent transitions like Felicia's in this cast. Anyway.
Exactly. I mean, everybody who sees Nathan is always like, did you name her Felicia? I'm like, well, one, it's a he.
Yeah, one, it's a he.
Yeah, not gonna name him Felicia. No. I could have, but I wanted to name him Blues because his eyes are really blue.
They're so vibrant.
And that would have worked because I wanted to do that because I had Jasmine, so then it would be Jazz and Blues, and it would have been Jazz and Blue Streak. Like Transformers, basically, kind of thing. So but Nathan is what he ended up as. So.
Well, I think it's perfect. But here we go. Peace, Kelly, and Hokuto.
Yep. So Hokuto's sticking with the Sasquatch no matter which Darkstalkers game he's playing in.
Which is interesting because we talked about how Sasquatch is fundamentally very different in both of the games.
And also the other thing too is that, with the advent of Super Turbo, so long story short, Japan, Capcom, believed in slower paced fighting games, right? There is a turbo mode in this game, but as you can see, the turbo mode still isn't like Vampire Savior ridiculous speed. And so, the Darkstalkers games were designed to be, they originally were a lot slower paced fighting games. But once, hyper fighting, in America came out and everybody hated Super Street Fighter 2 because it was so slow. Capcom Japan then went to the faster pace, and so that is one of the things that makes Sasquatch so unmanageable in Vampire Savior, is just literally how fast the game is, so you cannot react to everything he's doing.
I like this because it's just not only are the games themselves really cool, but you can just see so many of the ideas where developers from other groups, not just Capcom, but Arc System Works and, French Bread and things like that, like where they got ideas from and how they iterated them in the games that we play now.
Yeah, one of the ones that makes everybody the most upset is that in this game and in Vampire Savior, Xianko has one of the best instant air dashes in the game. She's so fast and hits forever, and it's like crazy. And then in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, her air dash is super slow. And it's like, you put her in a Marvel game and you made her slow? What?
Like, how dare you? And Xianko is I love, the first time I played her, I was like, yo, this character's fun and crazy. And we're just throwing stuff, and I love it. I like the character, like the random item characters. I think that's a really neat concept in fighting games. But the way she plays is so fun, and her animation, like the way that she just moves and will twitch at certain points, was so artfully done.
Like her head is falling off in her idle pose.
Oh yeah, that head rolling animation. The first time I saw it, I didn't understand what the character was, and I was like, what? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I don't remember if you heard me tell the story, but last week, I'll tell it here again. Sorry for everybody who's heard it already, but
we're gonna hear it again.
When I was young, my mom's very superstitious, and when I was young, whenever I walked, I would walk with kind of a bounce because as I was leaving my foot, I would walk on my toes a little bit. So I would walk and kind of press off the tip of my toes, so I would bounce as I walked. And my mom told me to stop doing that. We had to learn to walk straight, basically, so that we didn't bounce. And that's because Chinese ghosts walk on their tiptoes. And so they bounce all the time. And so it was bad luck to walk like a Chinese ghost. And Xianko, the very first time I saw her, she walks on her tiptoes and she bounces and hops when she moves forward. And I was like, that is so cool.
It's such a great detail and such a good, like, the depth that the designers go in this game to showcase, like, where the characters are from and how they're developed and things like that is just really fabulous. And it's details like that, as somebody, you know, who has a Chinese background, who would know that's what that is a reference to. And it's so meaningful to have that kind of representation.
Yes, for sure. And you know, it's just so cool because like you're gonna put a Chinese, because Chinese ghosts, I mean, are a very, very specific kind of like lore monster kind of thing. If you've seen some old like Asian ghosts as well, like if you've seen some Japanese movies like Kwai-dun and stuff like that, there's a lot about Asian ghosts and stuff. And so it was a big deal for me to see that kind of character. Yeah, every character in this game is based off of myth, based off of Hollywood movie monsters. So at first they were all Hollywood movie monsters except for Bishamon, which was a Japanese movie monster. But again, that's one of my favorite things, because if you were going to put a mummy in a fighting game, Anakaris is not what you would have designed. And the fact that that is what they came up with is like, it's the art, like I said, the creativity is ridiculous.
I love with Anakaris, I see a lot of what Eliza in Skullgirls became. Some of those like mummy unwrapping and wrapping, and then the like the sarcophagi being sent out and things like that. I was like, huh, I wonder.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we mentioned the Seth and the Dimitri parallels. Dimitri is also Shadow Jago from KI, and Raven from Guilty Gear Xrd is just Jeddah from this game.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Yeah, they basically, Daisuke was like, let's make Jeddah, but he's actually good. And then they made Raven. Yeah, Jeddah's not very good in Vampire Savior. He's okay. He's okay.
Yeah, he gonna be okay. Oh, Daisuke. The vision is complete.
Oh, man.
And your fighting game collection is not complete without these titles. So, and again, these sales aren't gonna be around forever. So if you do want them, I mentioned it earlier, the regular price is not bad, but if you're gonna get it anyway, get it on sale because you're gonna save some money. And you have the Capcom Fighting Collection, which we've been featuring here today as part of the Mystery Tournament, which has 3 more games in addition to the ones that we had on the wheel. And then with the whole bundle, there's a ton of other games that you get with it. And I mean, if you are a Capcom Fighting fan, this is a really cool part of history to own. And the thing with this too, with the collection, is that it's being updated, and not just like small little updates. This is a huge quality of life update, and it's coming on the 27th of this month.
Yeah, they're going to be adding a bunch of new features to the game. Also, make sure you follow Level Up Live here, because Valle himself, as well as Jimmy, will be doing a stream to highlight and showcase all these new features, like the hitbox viewer that we just saw, like the new color options for Puzzle Fighter, which my assumption is that they're probably trying to make some more colorblind friendly features, because if you're colorblind, it's red and green that particularly get confused for you, if I'm not mistaken. And so you can even see in this color scheme here, you know, distinctly lacking that kind of differentiation. So, oh, I'm sorry, the preview for CFC is already up on the YouTube. Never mind, it's already up on the YouTube, so go check that out. Which, But follow Level Up Live anyway. But check out their YouTube for the presentation for sure. And then of course they're gonna have the quality, the connection qualities that you can indicators you can see there based on the color of the number on the left side over there, and the ability to change your input delay on the fly based on what match you end up playing. So.
And I know a lot of people are really excited about not just the addition of training mode being in a lot of these games, but the hitboxes too. Like, I love that the example is with Cyberbots, because like who had hitboxes on those guys? But speaking of which, we could get that game again as we spin and win, and we
Puzzle Fighter is back, and Battle Athletes like, where were you before?
Why are you here now? You have abandoned me. All hope is lost.
Oh man,
I'm excited. I love this game.
Yeah, like somebody said, I mean, can you imagine if that bug happened with the red and green gems to a colorblind person?
I would just like stack them in column form and be like, bro, I'm out. That's enough for me. That's enough day for me. Try again tomorrow. That would be insanely difficult. But no, I do hope that the game cooperates. If you joined us more recently and you happened to miss the first time we played it, we ran into an extremely interesting bug where we were basically only getting 2 colors of gems the entire time.
Yeah, literally it was the yellow and red, yellow and red, yellow and red, yellow and red, yellow and red.
Battle of Puzzle Fighter, why aren't you here? Puzzle Fighter abandoned you, Battle Athlete, I regret to inform you.
Yeah, and you know, that's a good thing too. I mean, I'm sure if you talk about it, because like somebody actually says here in the chat, Felineki says, upping the max number of matches per set. I think you could do a first to 5 is the most you could do, but he's saying like letting you even go up to 10 if you want, if 2 people just want to play a long set and stuff. A lot of these things are like, features that you can ask for, and definitely, just tweet at Capcom Fighters, tweet at, Capcom, and, I'm sure they'll do their best to listen for these kind of things and try to add in new features like this, because that's what the cool thing about this update is like they're still adding stuff, and hopefully this means that they're not just gonna stop here, and more features will be added as time goes.
I mean, I feel like in this day and age that we are, where communicating is so easy to do between your everyday player and not just your developers, but also your producers and your directors. The way that we are able to share that information and connect with each other, people are really listening, and where there used to also be a translation barrier between a lot of these companies, now due to things like really good translation software and also having translators everywhere, like we're able to communicate these ideas more freely. And now more than ever, I feel like developers are listening and taking feedback and trying to just adjust, because not only is it great for the community as a whole, it's great for the company because it keeps feeding in, and you get better stuff. It's a better cycle all around. Everybody gets better. There's no loss.
We've saying not having to write a letter to game magazines. Oh man.
Oh, what a time.
I have definitely written letters to game magazines. But I will say this though, again, having that, with great power comes great responsibility. Be nice. I mean, David one time said that he was commentating a tournament and Ed Boon tagged him in a post about that tournament. And then he saw every reply that Ed was getting, and he was just like, I don't even know how he survives this, because it's just so many angry people about no Melina, or put this character in, or you're an idiot, da 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 da. And it's like, let's just be nice to each other, okay?
No, it is disheartening. When people have criticism, I always say, if you have criticism, be sure to give it, but be constructive, because people listen to constructive, well thought out, well explained feedback. It doesn't have to be a novel. You don't have to, write Moby Dick again or something, but at least be crafted. Like, have tact. Be tactful. Yes. That's all I'm asking. But also be nice.
We have Mike here setting up again. He's trying to set up a red-yellow chain over there, but it is going to get blocked, so this is a problem. But we saw that Mike obviously was clearly very strong at this game last time we saw play, so I'm curious to see how this is going to go, because Hokuto right now, and see what he's trying to do is he's trying to finish off Mike, but he did it by breaking a lot of small things, and so it's not going to be enough. And so now you see Mike is making the comeback here. So Hokuto right now going to try to send more, but he got countered because, again, Mike sent a lot more to him.
Yeah, and so this is Grand Finals, the last game we have of the evening. Hokuto and Mike Lee's story. Mike Lee being on the winner's side. Maybe not for long. There could be a reset.
One thing to mention, though, too, is that the game is kind, quote unquote, in a way, in that if you do send a ton of stuff over to them, I think, again, Valle can correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll see sometimes the pieces come down at 5, and sometimes the pieces come down at 3. I think if you send a ton of stuff, the timer starts at 3, but Alex can correct me on that one, because like I said, he knows this game much better than I do. Valle was literally like one of the best at this game for the longest of time.
Which again, I think is really, really neat that we get to have that kind of storied history with somebody who is running this tournament. That's so cool.
The time goes to 3 when the diamond breaks the blocks. There you go. There you go. So not only if you don't kill with the diamond, they come in as weaker timer blocks. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Ultra. See, Ultra Sean knows what he's doing in this game. Come on.
Yeah, right? Ultra Sean definitely knows. Speaking of definitely knows, a Mike Lee story. Seriously ridiculous in this game. The setups are gorgeous.
Clearly, Hokuto probably would have wanted anything except Puzzle Fighter. Because like I said, Hokuto's very, very strong at the fighting games.
Right.
And Mike Lee has obviously shown how good he is at puzzle games. And so this is kind of like the worst case scenario for Hokuto right now. I'm not sure what the setup he's going for right now, but I mean, he's doing the right thing. He's keeping the column clean. He's trying to set up a big blue setup right now. So he's got that ready to go. He does not want to break the blue with the diamond. So instead, what he's doing is clearing out the other colors so that he can keep as much blue as possible over here. The question now comes down to is how is Mike going to counter it? Unfortunately for Hokuto, the way he has it set up. Okay, there we go. The big break.
Nice.
And he's going to get a 3 combo. Doesn't need anything more. Holy crap. Ow.
That was great. Yeah, the blue ended up chaining into the red, and then there was that little yellow at the end. And by the time it all went through, it was like, oh, well, Mike died.
Dude, and that's awesome, Sean. Like, he says in the chat, like, he read some FAQs. That's so cool.
It is so cool.
And again, you know, I say this, and I know I'm going to be biased as an FAQ writer, but those FAQs were so important back in the days because, you know, that was the start of the internet, and that is when we first were able to start spreading information and getting the information, because before, like I said, these games had to be pick up and play in a way that you didn't know anything, you know?
So our big 2-chain, 3-chain, Jesus Christmas, Hokuto said bye. That 3-chain was so good.
Never mind what I said earlier when I said Hokuto would have wanted any other game except for Puzzle Fighter, because Hokuto is like, nah, son, I know how to play this game too.
And play he did. Oh, I missed what Donovan's pattern is.
Yeah, I wish they showed the pattern. Like, that would actually be one of the coolest upgrades to this game, is if the pattern was just on the screen. Or maybe they could even, because this is the home version, put the pattern in the character on the sidebar, like over the art or something like that. Ooh. Like, just have that as an option.
That would
get on that, Capcom. Get on that,
Capcom.
Capcom.
What a if you wanted to train in this game and figure that out, that would definitely be. Ooh, I like this a lot. Yeah, but Hokuto obviously, like you said, knowing what he was doing, that 3-chain in the last round was ridiculous.
It's brutal.
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm in pain and I'm not even playing the game. And that's,
Yeah,
I mean, those are little ones though. Ooh, that was a 2-chain. That's pretty good.
I don't know Hokuto's history. I don't know his age and history and such. I'm not sure how young he is or if he's an older person, you know, based off of his knowledge of these games. But what's interesting about this is that, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, like a player like Mikey, for example, knows all the different games was because in the arcade era, when you played these games in the arcade, while you were waiting for your turn, you would go play the other games in the arcade. And so a lot of these fighting games and stuff would all be next to each other. So you just kind of forced yourself to learn these other fighting games just while you were waiting for your turn. You put your quarter up on the machine, you're waiting for somebody, you know, the 6 tokens to come back around.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you learn these games like this. Oh my God, you're dead. Oh wait, the gem!
No,
the diamond!
that's huge!
Oh my God, oh my God. Hokuto looked like he was going to die, but this is what I mean. The counterplay factor right there.
That was gross.
Hokuto just waited and was like, you know what? I'm going to let you. So this is the importance of going second, right? So what Hokuto did right there, if he had gone first, counter damage is very strong in this game. And so what Hokuto did instead was he turtled on that setup until Mike sent that giant thing over so he could kill a lot of the damage and then send a bunch of stuff to him, and Mike had nothing left for the counter damage. That was disgusting.
It was like the level of outplay was absolutely genius. And before this scrolls away, June said that they should add the pattern to the sideboards because the OG cabinet had them below the screen.
Yes,
which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because old fighting games, they used to put the move lists on the cabinet.
Right, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's, instead of move lists, they had the gem patterns there. Oh, this is dangerous. Actually, that's going to be dead. Oh,
yeah, death is
Mike's
dangerous.
Like,
there's a barcade in my area, and they have a Street Fighter 2 cabinet, and you can still see like all of the move lists down there. The cabinet itself, like they've got to do some work on the joysticks because they're real bad. And and I'm like, oh, I have opinions about this now, great. But it's really cool because even at this barcade, people will still like put their tokens up in a line to like request next and stuff, which is super. I'm like, all of this makes me happy.
Dude, you should see the layout, my stream layout for my Soul Calibur streams that I used to do. I mean, I'm gonna get back to them at some point in time, but I created my, like, basically I play people, viewers online, and they just come and hang out. But I drew, oh, he's gonna live. He saved that gem. He saved that gem on purpose. He was waiting. He was like, you know what? You've got this all set up, but I've got the diamond ready to go. Hokuto is still alive.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, he needs a blue. He needs a blue right now. Hokuto needs a blue.
He really does.
He broke. Oh, he's got the green there, but they are not giving him that blue to break that giant blue gem down there.
No,
this is a dangerous situation right now.
Oh God, I'm so stressed for him.
Oh, where's the crash gem? No. He's got it. That might be it.
Oh,
wait, no. Mike is going to be able to stave that off. Oh, this is the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. This is so what we were waiting for.
I was certainly, I didn't know what we would get, but this is probably the most intense puzzle fighter I've ever seen. I'm sweating for them. Oh no. Okay, well, column 4 still looks really good, and you had the little switch there. That was really, really good.
That was unfortunate for Hokuto, though, because sometimes you stagger, you kind of checkerboard your crash gems because that happens. It creates a better chance of having accidental chains get created. When he used the diamond, it didn't create a chain, but then it paid off on the next break over there. Here we go. Dude, I thought Hokuto was done again. But again, Hokuto coming back, going up 2-0 over Mike Lee.
Hokuto has just nerves of steel, able to sit. I'm intimidated. If I ever run into Hokuto, I'm just going. You're my opponent. Congratulations, you have won. I will walk away because you have far more far better nerves than I do. Your constitution is made of something else.
Well, now we all know how Ultratron felt playing against Battle Athlete last week in this game, right?
Ah. I mean,
man.
part of me, it's like that fighting game instinct of, now I want to get better and practice this game, but the other one of being like, dag, you're real good, and I respect that.
Yeah, and again, you know, that's one of the joyous things about these kind of games, right? One of the things that's, you know, that makes competitive video gaming so enjoyable, you know, is that when you play these games, a lot of the appeal is that, oh, he was one too late! The diamond was coming! No!
Oh my god, Hokuto! 1 away from a reset in Puzzle Fighter!
I think they're gonna switch games after the reset, right? I'm pretty sure they're gonna spin the wheel again.
And doesn't that, like, basically just automatically favor Hokuto?
It might, but like I said, Mike definitely still has some expertise in some of these old games. But, you know, again, the greatest thing about this kind of genre of games and stuff is that, you know, I was talking about this last week a little bit too, but, you know, if you're playing Ryu in Super Turbo and you can't win, and you're getting blown up by, let's say, like this, like a person playing Ken, and you're like, God, this match sucks, Ryu can't win. And then Alex Valle comes and he's like, I'm gonna play my Ryu, and he blows up the Ken player. He's not using a different Ryu than you are. He's using the exact same Ryu, which means that you just know that you can get better. You know?
Mm-hmm. There's an argument that I saw recently that some with a particular fighting game character is like, oh, this is the best character in the game, and somebody said, okay, win with them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, or with a certain fighting game apparatus, same thing. If it's broken, go ahead, win with it.
Yep. Exactly. And that's one of
my opinion.
Oh, yeah, Mike did not want to break the yellow yet. He did not want to break the yellow yet. He's trying to save it. Okay, yeah, he's got to break it now. He has to break it now to stave off this damage. But Hokuto still, he's in a little bit of a trouble situation. You can see that the blue is split. That blue crash gem is buried. He's going to need at least 2 blues unless he can find a gap to get through there right now. So there we go, blue and red.
So
now he's exposed here. He's got that ready to go. If he get a blue crash gem,
he did.
The diamond. Mikey had the diamond. He's okay. Mike's gotta play fast now. Gotta play fast. Break these gems as fast as you can.
But look how fast Hokuto is going, like trying to send little bits at him.
But here we go! Mike is gonna stay alive with a big 3-chain combo. 9 more coming down. But again, Hokuto still alive. He got the diamond.
He got it.
Oh my god, just in time.
Oh my god, and the yellow coming in too? This is ridiculous. This is so intense right now. So he really needs another... If he could get a blue attached to a yellow, that would be really, really great for Hokuto right now. And Mike, in the meantime, is just making these ridiculous stacks.
Yeah, he's got himself a huge stack over there, but it got covered up a little bit. That's the risky part right now. He does have access to that yellow, but he needs a yellow crash gem now. He needs a yellow now, and he's not gonna get it. Hokuto resets the bracket. Every single time it looks like Hokuto is gonna go down, and this is what I mean. If you don't give them the killing blow, there is such a potential for people to make that comeback, largely because that diamond is coming every 25 pieces. But that is what you see. That, like, if you want to know how deep the rabbit hole for for Puzzle Fighter goes, sorry, I'm used to saying that name, for Puzzle Fighter goes, there was a great example of what the game looks like at the highest levels and how intense the game is.
I mean, honestly, that was such incredible, like, play and outplay and mind games And on the surface, it's such an easy puzzle game to get into. It's cute. It's got nice, big, shiny colors. It's really easy just to be like, oh, gems, 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 color match are good. But then as you get deeper and deeper and deeper, you're like, whoa, there is so much that we're able to do with this game. And I think that, is that not just like the greatest metaphor for fighting games? It's really simple on the surface, and then like, it's just, the depth is incredible. I like to say, like, barrier of entry, very low. Skill ceiling, boom, through the roof.
And again, Hokuto, like I said, from Mexico. I don't even necessarily know how good his English is, but Mike Lee saying that they play each other in random games all the time. Universal language, that is what fighting games really are, and it's... Oh, we got Puzzle Fighter again.
So we've got Gem Fighter, which
Gem Fighter,
Mike Lee's story says, Gem Fighter and Cyberbots we have never played.
Oh, okay.
I love this. My evil commentator is coming out.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I have spoken with Hokuto before. I did an interview with him after a Super Turbo tournament. I remember now. Yes, his English is good. But Mike Lee did say he's in his early 20s, so... Again, really? Shout outs to being able to, obviously, get good at these games and play these games. And I just love the fact that Capcom Fighting Collection is coming out to give, everybody out there access to this game on all of the platforms. A lot of people have talked about picking this game up on the Switch. I definitely want this game on the Switch because training mode, like on airplanes, is just like the greatest thing ever, let me tell you.
The Switch in actually any portable console on an airplane.
Yes.
A+, highly recommend.
Yeah, you're going to only imagine how many Steam Decks we're probably going to be seeing on airplanes sooner or later. So,
we got ours right after you.
Yeah, you got it. That's kind of where I figured you were going. I was like,
it's. Actually, so one of the Melty Blood co-commentators, we ended up being on the same connecting flight, and he and I were like, he was like, I'm gonna go train while we're on the fight. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, I'm just training for Melty Blood while we're flying over. Okay.
One of my favorite airplane experiences when Smash Brothers came out on the DS. Me and David were playing Smash Brothers on the DS, having fun. Right? We were messing around with Smash Brothers. We started up a lobby and a third person joined us. And we were like, what the heck? Who? And we looked around and someone held up a DS randomly above their chair and put it down. And we were like, let's go. And like we played, it was like the greatest thing ever.
That is so amazing. But also, if you have not seen that there's this CFC win there that Nightbot brings up that little chat. The contest winners are going to be announced on Monday, so make sure that you're following Level Up Live so that you can actually like find out if you win, because you not only you could like win this, but here we are in the bracket reset, grand finals reset, playing Gem Fighter Mini Mix.
Yep. And you see that costume that Chun-Li goes into sometimes where she's holding that little hoop. That's June from the Star Gladiator games, Plasma Sword games. And that's one of the ones that I would love to see in a 3D Capcom Fighting Collection, like a Capcom Fighting 3D collection. Like put Star Gladiators, Plasma Sword, look at that! And finding the gap in between that string to come out with the super!
Oh. There are so many projectiles.
Yeah, throwing those items, trying to get the cross up, and Senko going into little chef mode instead of claws, throwing out little pandas, and so doing the ghost and goblins death there, falling into the front into the water.
Oh, I saw the little pandas. I'm like, every time I see something in this game, I'm like, I need that, but in plushie form.
Like the
I will
little
just have a plushie museum.
Cammy on the chair. Oh yeah, see that's June in the background on the right at the cashier. The one with the hair buns over there. That's June from the Star Gladiator games.
Is that DJ at the bar?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I love all of that.
Yep, DJ's at the bar, up at the top too. There's some characters up there that I can't see because the screen's not staying high enough over there. But look at this, Mike is just like, look, we have gone to Gem Fighter. I am picking the strongest character in the game right now, rushing you down with this Chun-Li. Again, in older games, block stun and hit stun were largely the same. So the fact that Chun-Li can actually link out of her costume combo into a repeat of it means that it's kind of a true block string as well. And so what that means is that Mike, you can see he's doing punch, 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 punch. He's a little farther away, but he's still plus. So he's gonna try to dash up and keep going basically afterwards. He never finishes the costume combo and just keeps trying to go for the pressure. We see Hokuto switching from Senko to Akuma now.
I didn't see that the bar was named Maximum. That should have given away the DJ part right away.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
yeah, that's right.
Maximum. There we go. I really like DJ as a character. I think he's very fun. Wow.
I can't wait to see how he is in Street Fighter 6, to be honest with you, because again, DJ hasn't necessarily been the most well-treated character in Capcom history, so I can't wait to see if DJ, like, how cool they can make him in 6, dude. So
far we're batting 1,000, so I'm very hopeful.
Yep.
Honestly. I like to say I'm very optimistic, like reservedly optimistic about 6, but so far I've been blown away, so we'll see.
Yep. And you see Hokuto doing kind of the same thing, 1, 2, 3. Here we go, Hokuto with a good lead here, but he's still down 1 round here. What a response, but that's gonna get blocked, and what the heck? He just hit you with his spiky hair.
I mean, he's gotta have gel in it or something. It's gonna hurt, especially it's like 90s gel. That stuff could like drill concrete.
That's gonna be punished here.
Ooh, yeah, definitely punished after that. I think the idea of a costume combo is so clever.
Oh, and you can see right there. So the ending that Hokuto is going for every time so far is that throw ending, and Mike has been able to interrupt it. So that's why you have to see if you could find one of the paths that leads into the frame trap ender. Oh no, raging demons!
Yeah, but still, it's like Hokuto doesn't care and is gonna keep fighting. They were able to collect a lot of gems off of that too.
And because he had a level 3 fireball, he didn't see it right there where he was landing from the air fireball, and it did so much damage that it actually killed him. And Mike Lee is up 2-0 now.
Hokuto! My friend!
Yo.
Get it together!
You know, I would have thought the puzzle game favored Mike Lee and the fighting game would have favored Hokuto. I have been wrong in every way, shape, or form in this grand finals here, and but that's okay.
I was gonna say, what a good way to be wrong. I am happy
exactly.
to be wrong in this instance. Oh, but again, like another DP that was just punished. That thing has no horizontal, it's all vertical.
And again, trying to bust his way out. Oh, dash him! Dash him! No! Come on, Mike! Oh! I wanted him to do the dash attack stun in the... If you actually do the dash attack on somebody when they're stunned in the corner, you launch them around the planet. And I really wanted to see that.
I would have loved to see that, but instead we got bicycles.
Yeah. Oh, Chun-Li, yeah, Chun-Li is definitely the best character in this game. I think Zangief is like second or something like that. He's pretty strong. Oh, and every time, see, there's so much startup on that throw ender for the costume combo. Oh, finally got him with the super.
This is honestly the most even that this entire match has been. The way that...
Look at Dimitri go! Sliding on the ground. This is one of my favorites, is Dimitri just sliding. Dude, he has never been able to land that throw. He has tried to go for it so much, but Mike has just been aware of it. Uh-oh.
This could be a good turn around. No, what a reversal. I'm honestly holding my breath because Mike Lee's story is so close, and he got it! He turned Akuma into a pile of bones!
There was an alpha counter? He did an alpha counter and killed him with an alpha counter? Wait, I didn't even know there were alpha counters in this game. Holy crap!
Well, today we learned.
Mike knowing more about the game than a lot of us here do. So there you go. Wait, is Geef the best character? I thought Chun was the best character, and then Geef. He's saying Geef is better than Chun, but there you go. Mike is gonna end up taking it over Hokuto here. First time that they played each other in this game. But congratulations to Mike. He is the winner of the Capcom Fighting Collection Mystery Tournament.
Round 2 of the Mystery Tournament. And we got to see 7 of the 10 games showcased here today, and a couple of them twice, which was really fun. But this is just a great showcase of what the collection can be. And I mean, I would love personally to see more of these mystery tournaments happen because of this game. Because, I mean, not only is it like, okay, the lobby system is super easy. I have never had an easier time setting up a lobby in my life.
Oh, nice.
I've really enjoyed like that. And you can make public lobbies, you can make private lobbies. It's so simple. And then to be able to, I mean, the wheel, that sort of asset is available just on the internet. That's something that you can make yourself. It's, I mean, it looked really good, so it worked out great for us. But like, this is something that's not unachievable if you wanted to do this at a local or at a regional or just something fun to do, because it just really brings people together, and the netcode is spectacular.
And again, it's history too, right? It's so much of like to see where we came from, to see how fighting games were before, and you know, as I call myself the fighting game historian, or now you've called me the Chencyclopedia at this point in time. So thank you for that name. I'm gonna try to change my Twitter profile now to have that listed in my bio, the Chencyclopedia, dude. But like honestly, you know, it's very interesting because I've talked about this, how fighting games themselves overall as a genre have changed over the decades. And, you know, like I said, these old games were more about pick up and play, you know, et cetera, et cetera. These kind of trends and stuff is just, it's so fascinating to see. And, you know, between the 30th anniversary collection and Capcom Fighting Collection over here, you can see how fighting games have evolved. And, you know, a lot of people get mad about like, oh, you dumbed down fighting games, whatever. Old games didn't do that. Dude, Street Fighter Alpha 1 is probably the most dumbed down fighting game. Like, you can tell that they tried to make, like, you can see that the pattern has always existed, and it's really fascinating. But you know, that's one of the things about having these kind of collections that's so cool, is it really is like sitting, like when you're like, I'm the parent now that's telling you to go watch Gone with the Wind, but now I'm telling you to go play the original Darkstalkers, you know, like that's literally what it is. And you know, and you get to learn so much from it, and like, it makes me happy to see this kind of collection being made. So,
and it's nice too because it gives people. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've exposed ourselves like 18 times about us being like FGC AARP club over here. But like, it gives players like us who were built on the fundamentals of these styles of games an opportunity to introduce the history to newer players and get to talk about the nuances that, and not just the nuances of the game, but also like the development cycle and the thought and the art and just like the sprite work. And then of course, like for me in particular, I'm always really interested in the musical side of it and how they were able to throw that together, because that's like all of what I mean, not all of what I enjoy, but it's a vast majority of what I enjoy. And getting to see all of this come together and how it's built, and then just creating a new chapter of history with it is really, really fun to get to do, and then to be able to share it with all of you guys. So thank you in particular for being here and joining us today. If you are an East Coast homie like me, it is awfully late for you, but thank you for staying up with us, because this has been a ton of fun to be able to share with you.
Absolutely. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for everyone to participating. I already see June saying, you know, it was a fun to be a part of. I know Money Green, if I'm not mistaken, was part of last week, you know, had fun playing as well. So thank you guys for not only just the viewers, but for the participants. Shout outs to Justin Wong for that raid as well, by the way.
Definitely.
And but outside of that, just history of fighting games is important, especially to someone like me, So, hope you enjoy these old school games. But that's it for me. Any last thoughts, Jaidlyn?
No, I think I've said everything I've wanted to say. I thank you for having me here. This was a lot of fun to get to do and to get to dive into and just explore this like happy little retro space in my heart and to be, to be on the mic with you for the first time officially was a lot of fun as well. So thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, check out the YouTube Level Up Live. They have the video out there showcasing all the new updates coming to CFC on September 27th. So look out for that. But other than that, peace out, and we'll see you guys next time.